of trouble. Pulls back. Quick reload with the R99.
Legends Global Series. We're back. It's now match day 6, this time in the Americas, and I am very excited to get straight into all of the action. I'm your host, Glitter Explosion, and of course, I've got Vicky and Genome back, refreshed and ready to dive into it. Vicky, are you excited for the Americas?
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to especially with the way that Amia highlighted everything.
Genome, are you surviving right now? Okay, we know that you've made it through 8.
Of course I am. It's Apex, man. There's nowhere I would rather. Seeing the smile on Oblivion now Sentinel's faces as they won the Japan LAN at the end of that montage,
True.
man. It's just like it just hits me in the feels. It gets me ready for another set of Apex.
All right, well, it's gonna be a good day today, and this, for everybody in chat, reminder, is the last match day before our mid-season break, and we kicked off Amia with a little bit of a throwback, so what better way to do that but in Americas on this day in Apex a year ago, guys. We were all in NOLA together, and look how cute you are. Look at the photo, Vicky.
Look, Mom, I'm on TV. And you know, Hal's mom actually took a picture of me delivering the trophy. The vibes here in this venue was immaculate. And, you know, we had a really good time.
We did. I mean, we got to interview your mum, Vicky.
Yeah,
she
my mom was there.
We had a great time. I think that was the first time she's attended in person, right?
That was the first time she's ever seen me cast in person,
cool.
correct. And that was the first time she actually was in a gaming environment. So there was a lot of families there for our players too, guys.
That was like one of my favorite things about this LAN, was just the different feel to it. Definitely more of a community vibe. Yeah. And then, of course, at the end of it, an insane lower bracket run on behalf of Falcons to then turn around and win the whole thing. I mean, what a LAN, what a good time. But I do have some questions about what our players took away from their experience in New Orleans, because for anybody who might have missed it last week, I think Hal might have left New Orleans with more than just a win and a trophy, possibly acquired a little bit of voodoo magic as well. For anyone who caught his stream last week, Hal was talking about potentially cursing a lot of the teams that he didn't want to do well in match day number 5. Well, some of those curses seemed to come true, while some of the other curses maybe didn't land. But we did get an opportunity to catch up with Hal and ask him, you know, what his thoughts were about his voodoo cursing strat to begin with.
Yeah, I feel like typically, I don't know, for some reason it works most of the time. I know like some pros were in my chat before they played and they saw it, so maybe it just got into their head. I don't know, who knows, maybe, but maybe there's some actual magic behind it, who knows?
He's a little bit too calm about that. Maybe it works. He's just coincidentally cursing people, which some teams that he cursed did not do well last week. One of the teams that he left alone, though, he's like, no, I can't. These guys have enough going on already. I can't curse them. They need to do well this week. It was Shopify, Vicky. He doesn't curse them, and all of a sudden, Shopify have the best day that they have had all split long. Is it the voodoo magic?
It could be. You know what? I was gonna say, like, the fact that they dodged the Hal curse, the Hal hexing Hal. Maybe they also preemptively were prepared in case it could have worked against them, because you know sometimes you jinx it. Yep. They rub an egg over their bodies to cleanse themselves of any negative energy. Where Genome's like, I don't even know what they're talking about here. But this is what they needed. Like, the fact that they were able to actually wake up when they needed to is an indicator of the question mark of, couldn't this be one of the teams that we see like just change things up in terms of like their roster? Well, look, if you see signs of life here, maybe you shouldn't, because it takes time to ramp up when you have a different team together.
Yeah, and
I mean, I make omelets with eggs. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but look, hey, maybe if the Apex career wraps up at some point, Hal could like become an Etsy witch. Maybe that's his sort of like exit strategy. I don't know.
Oh, it's his second job, his second income stream. That I love the Etsy witch vibes for Hal. But no, Genome, I really did want to ask you your thoughts on this team. You know, is this a blip, or is this them finding their footing? Is this what we were hoping for out of Shopify? Can they do it? You know, give me some thoughts here.
Okay, look, I think this is it's an interesting time, maybe an inflection point, you could say, in SR's sort of evolution. Like, is this them coming out of the chrysalis and becoming the beautiful butterfly? Yeah. Maybe, right? Because if we think back to Split 2 last year, where they won the match point finals, this was Zainu, and the team doing what we knew they could do best, which is play edge and just frag out. Even in that final game where people usually play safe to try and win a match point finals, they got 15 kills, something crazy, right? And just fragged their way to victory. It didn't work out for them at Japan, and it wasn't working out for them at the start of this split. We started to raise those questions about, is Zainu really an IGL, or is he just a yapper? I think, well, hear me out. I think actually they've just been working out the kinks and rounding out the other part of Zainu as an IGL, which is you need to be able to play zone as well, because the zone is not always going to go away from you. It's not always going to, be super close. You need both strings to your bow. Yeah. And I think Zainu may have just finally found the other half.
I love that. And they're definitely a team after that performance that we are going to be watching throughout the rest of the split to see if they're able to either replicate that, find the consistency we're always looking for out of our top teams. We'll have to see how it plays out for them. One final thing that we do want to remind everybody of at home is the fact that after we are done here today, during that mid-season break that we're having, our roster transfer window will open up. And I know there's a lot of discussions around which teams are potentially going to be changing their rosters, if any at all. Well, we already have one change confirmed, okay? They posted this on social media. Not only did Legacy get picked up by All Gamers Global, but they have brought back Niazul. He's back. Niazul's back, Vicky. Okay, the trio. Is this the time it's gonna work?
Look, I know sometimes Latinos, Latinas, they can get a little toxic out here, but you go through couples therapy and the gang is back together again, because these three just cannot separate from one another. And I like to see my trio back together again. Something in my heart of hearts, guys, makes me feel like it's because they just want me to cast all three of them together. But also, I feel for Gyozi, who's still playing for them today. Yeah. I'm just going to say my intrusive thought out loud. Like, what's going to stop Gyozi from, not really putting his all into today, knowing that he's going to be replaced? Because imagine just hearing that news right before you're still going to be playing in a Pro League day. But hey, at the same time though, if you want to continue on your career, you don't want to be putting out some weak numbers. So I'm happy to see those three back together again, even if we do have to wait after we take our little break here in the Pro League.
Yeah, and then
I mean, last split, you do remember when Zach was about to get removed and S2 got a 20th on that week. Just saying.
Oh, okay. All right, I see what you're doing here. As we take a look at these Pro League standings, obviously, some of our teams looking to get that fourth series played. That's what we're going to be rounding out here today as we finish the second grouping of our round robin. And it is NIP at the top of this, with a lot of those teams trying to chase and get the top spot in our overall standings. And we have a stacked lobby here today, Genome Groups B and C. We were talking about Falcons. We get to see them here today. Is this the moment for Shopify to come back after kind of bringing it up? Is Burger back, one more time? Their consistency has been crazy. So many squads to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, NA is stacked, right? And we get close series. It's really hard for a team to blow out a series in NA just because the level is so high across the board. And that's just great for us, and it's great for you guys at home. We always get a good match to watch.
We hope. Okay, because also, if anybody missed it,
okay.
there have been more records being broken, okay? This time in APAC North. So make sure you check that out if you haven't done so already. Follow along with us on social media. That way you can stay up to date with all those types of things that are happening, the record breaking, the results of all of our matches, roster changes when they happen, orgs picking teams up when they get picked up, because I feel like heading into all of that, it's going to be crazy. And of course, birthdays, because it is Cole's birthday today. Happy 23rd birthday to Cole. I just mentioned NIP at the top of our leaderboard, and we've got a birthday coming through here too, Vicky.
Ooh, we love to see it. Happy birthday to one of our pro players. I mean, there's just been a lot of celebrations all the way around here. I also got word that Vaudry, by the way, just came out of winning a collegiate LAN for Bellevue. So, hey, shout out to our college players out here also competing within some professional Apex themselves. So you love to see it. I mean, personally, for me, guys, that was something that I always wanted growing up. So now that we get to see that bridge being closed up between between our collegiate players into what we've already witnessed within Pro League has always been something super cool to follow.
Do you think he plays like the same insane comps that Men of Culture play in ALGS in the collegiate scene as well? Is he still just running at people with anything he wants?
I saw the results, guys. I saw a little lifeline in those lobbies. I want to know what the heck is going on there. But I'm also, it also highlights too the different type of level of play that we have across the board, whether it be CC, collegiate, Pro League, and how it's all influenced together. If you see the ball rolling and maybe other players trying to adapt around that and then maybe take it into their own gameplay.
Yeah, that's why we're constantly shouting out CC, Vicky. What a perfect segue, okay? Because it really could be anyone. You could be on a collegiate squad. You could be just a ranked grinder. If you find your people, though, take an opportunity to register on battlefy.com/ALGS for our next Challenger Circuit. Registration is open now, and CC number 3 will be May 23rd through the 25th. If you don't get it by then, there's still one more CC after that in June, so you still have a little bit more time. But why not jump on in, test it out, see how you and your trio do? If it were up to Vicky, they would let the casters do it, and Vicky would be in there already. So just make sure why not? You could be one of the next squads up here on the main broadcast. We've had so many good CC squads that we've gotten to talk about just this split alone. And you were talking about S2 earlier, Genome. We might as well bring it back. As I mentioned, there's going to be orgs coming through, picking these teams up. And we also got to talk to Zach Mazer. Well, now they have been picked up by Team Vision.
Did you ask him if he's Cupid? Because that's the kind of sense I'm getting from this picture.
Ooh, wait, yeah.
I like it. And if Pathy's like in the background, it's just giving me like the Valentine's Day Pathy banner vibes, right? Just there for the vibe. And I like this though. I like being able to announce the teams that have been getting involved within the professional Apex scene.
I can't unsee that. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to unsee that now.
Also, their coach is called Eros, the Greek god of love.
Ooh.
You would pick up on that.
Hold on.
That is the most Genome thing to recognize. And we just continue with the org pickups as well. This is why the social media following is so important, because Nemesis is back. All right, Stallions now a Team Nemesis, Vicky. This is huge for them.
Yeah, Nemesis, a team that I'm very familiar with across other game titles here, and being able to see them once again within Apex is back and ready to go with a new trio, and I don't blame them too with the action and the comms that we actually heard just the other week between this squad. So I'm excited to see how this is going to play out too, because you also don't want to curse these teams. Sometimes there's been like that new pickup curse where they finally get signed and then things go down here. So I'm not trying to curse them out here. It's just about being consistent, which is the name of the game, and very hard in the BR.
They also have one of the cutest plushies around in Esports. And like if I had a Loba black market at an ALGS land, like that would probably be the first item I would steal.
You're stealing it? Oh, I'm telling. Oh, Nemesis got to guard their plushies next time around. Okay. Oh no. Why? It's back. Oh yeah, but okay, you know what, chat, you can help us, okay? This is Vicky's least favorite thing right now. Quite a few people don't love this name, but we are giving you all at home an opportunity to rename this comp, okay? No more baby comp. Give us something else. The most liked reply will be what we are then asked to call this here on the broadcast. And please give us something good, okay? Because I don't know if you saw Genome, but I'm pretty sure Jayhawk gave us diaper comp. Like, he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Heck no.
Hello?
No, right. Absolutely
we're
not.
Not inviting that guy back on the broadcast. Excuse me?
All I could think about, guys, is like Gino brought up Lobo. I'm like, oh, Mama's got a new bag. And then we're talking about a new name for Baby Cup. Please, guys, help us by tweeting at us. Let us know your opinions on stuff like that. Well, some of the good ones that we heard was the Scan and Slam, the Bubble Express, Flying Meatball from Shiv earlier, by the way.
Yup.
Two big boys and their mother.
I just like the flying meatball because it makes me think of like the flying spaghetti monster. Which I don't know if you guys are pastafarians as well, but that was actually the name of my first esports team.
That is Perfectly appropriate esports team name. And while everyone in chat is considering their contributions to our new composition name, it's time for us to dive into our matches, because I think match number 1 is about ready to go. So let's kick off the Americas.
Thank you so much, Glitter. Everybody, welcome to Americas. Can't believe it's already been 6 days here, Gino. But now this is the last Pro League day that we have before we'll see some roster transfers. Roster mania, maybe some couples therapy while we're at it. I just have to re-emphasize that because we are starting things off on Storm Point. And if anything, when we talk about Zainu and how he's a beautiful butterfly from my favorite Bugs Life movie, it's about making the adaptability and bringing it into the next Pro League a day, because look at them, they land over by Zoo Station, starting things off here on Storm Point, where they got a majority of their points, I believe, on E District. They fell a little off on Olympus, but we do know a lot of teams that struggle on that map in general. So let's see how they do right now on Storm Point after ramping up.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. We've also seen like a couple of wall zones so far, so obviously being up in Zeus Station gives you very good priority to those sitting up the top of the hill, sitting on the platform. You know, if they get one of those pulls, could be a little bit of luck going Shopify's way. But, you know, Falcon sitting down at Cenote Caves, Men of Culture with the first pick here. They went for Mill, where, of course, they do get access to the Trident, which they love to sit in and run at people's faces.
You got to see, too, in the POI draft, Genome, as we get started with our first game of the day, how many teams try to prio Storm Point compared to what we saw in our previous region. And I think that goes hand in hand, too, with the way that the Americas region pacing starts very early and how the legend bans work into place, right? Because even in that last game in EMEA, you have like little to no safe rotational legends to really help you out. And now we see Falcons and the expectations that are on the line for this team. I want to hear a little bit of thoughts for Hal.
How I'm feeling about Split 1, to be honest, it's pretty frustrating. We haven't been performing as well as we were before champs or even for champs. Going through a lot of like growing pains and figuring out, you know, little things. But I think we're improving week by week. I think, like I said, we have high standards and we are not performing as we were in the last tournament. So, yeah, just trying to learn the new metas and stuff like that.
I like it though, because you know that how when it comes to talking about Apex and how serious he makes sure that his team also takes practice here and how often they have to play Apex in general as a game. This is a guy who literally shows up for work and he's here to perform in anything short of that #1 spot. Even though we're probably, I'm not going to say even though, no, we absolutely will never see him hugging Zero ever again. It's a lot of pressure on them, but you know what? Pressure right now is something that nice guys are under after they just lost out on Hambino.
Hey, Nizzle just came back for the 3rd time. Never say never, Vicky.
You're right, actually. Yeah, that's like the 2nd time that we've seen them like rejoin together as the original team. And I mean, right now, singing their praise is going to be other squads in this vicinity after seeing if Nice Guys falls first, because this is a difficult situation to be in. I mean, you've lost out on your crypto. You won't be able to remotely get these banners here or remotely get a res. So that's a very tough first teammate to lose out on.
Yeah, sucks when he goes down first, doesn't it? Interesting zone here, going somewhat towards Stormcatcher and Command Center. I'm not ready to call this one yet, actually. It's a little bit tough. There's mountains in the middle. I think the next zone will pull very much to one side or the other, but we might have to wait for that, and we do see teams spreading out across. And the other thing we should quickly note, while you can see everyone's compositions, is that Burger has picked Wraith. This is a specific strategy in order to get Crypto banned out earlier, and it has succeeded. Crypto has a 100% pick rate, and therefore will be going out first instead of something like Caustic or Alter, which are both sitting at 95% here in Americas, the region that is known for being quite homogenous.
So smart in influencing this way when it comes to the legend bans, just so that way you don't get counterpicked with a lot of the abilities that our legends have. So with Crypto out of the fray, you could be a lot more safe. I mean, I say a lot with a little asterisk because you still have the Mad Maggie being a threat to Gibby, but it's even better when it comes to Caustic and Watson too.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. We should bring that up as well, right? The reason that they're doing this is because they want to play baby comp. They're very good at it, and crypto is the counter to that. They don't want to play it until crypto's out, so they make crypto go out in game one. I also have to give a shout out. Some guy theory crafted this on Reddit, and I was like, I don't know, man. Is any team really going to, you know, potentially give up points in game one just to make this happen? And yeah, look, Burger have absolutely done that consistently. And it was a really thought-provoking post, and it's come true.
I love it. Just the fact that you're thinking that far up ahead, it influences how you could play to your strength. And with everybody saying, all right, where is this team? Where is this team? While watching a different region, well, this is the reason why Americas has a lot of interesting outlooks on how a lot of these pro players have approached not only these end zones, but the legend bans too. I was a little worried here with a zone like this. If you don't really have ring console info, playing here early on the north side of this POI genome can get very risky. We've seen end zones pull out into this open side, and with teams rotating here early, especially on the high ground where we just saw Men of Culture rotate from, Valkyrie just came from winning a collegiate Apex LAN. Now it's time to lock in with Pro League on the line, and they see the crypto drones here. They don't want to allow these teams to just get free info.
I was about to say he should be warmed up already, but the way he was shooting at that drone, I'm not so sure. Maybe he's used up all his energy.
It's kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I'm not trying to expose myself, but sometimes I think shooting the crypto, I think actually Onsen and Gaskin brought this up last week. I feel like there's a lot of value if you manage to break it before it even has a chance to get close to you. I mean, for reasons like this, welcome to the EMP show now.
I got 2 words for you, Vicky. Roller diff.
All right. You're not wrong. But anyways, now Men of Culture have to worry not only about their caustic gas traps that were annihilated from an EMP originally, but this pressure that they're feeling, Valkyrie being the first one to get taken out, and now there's only one player left, and it's the Crypto. Can he stay hidden is the question, and can he pick up these banners? Because you could see him, he's too many cheaters, hiding invisible right in front of everybody else. The moment they destroy that crypto drone, by the way, or he gets out of it, good luck trying to get away.
Exactly. That's why he's trying to keep it safe and keep it away from everybody else, because they'll see him. He's exposed. He's right in the open there. Like sometimes teams even manage to like hear that little sound and tack onto it anyway, but looks like he's managed to get away with it for the moment. Now, Unreal Nightmare is a fascinating team, honestly. They've done well quite a few times. You can see Rails has some sort of idea. He's still around here, but he just can't quite find him.
Also have to highlight, like, Burger is the only team in the entire lobby not running the altar. So that's something else that we keep seeing roll out here as Unreal Nightmare. They saw the crypto drone. Oh no, the breach charge. It was gonna happen. They were waiting for it, Genome. And listen, if you're gonna be able to scoop up some free KP, you need it, because Unreal Nightmare being one of those teams that needs to really have one of those days where they pop off is necessary now, because Unreal Nightmare are literally sitting in last place in the overall standings in America. So any KP matters, and they're gonna be able to scoop that 3 KP up. And now we get to see where the zone is pulling, and it's gonna be away from Cascade Falls towards Stormcatcher, where so many teams have found themselves coexisting. But we know that when it comes to Rock Esports, they'll have a little bit of an easier time coming in from the high ground. Hopefully they'll have a ring console that they already got info from, since there is that server beacon from Lightning Rod. So that could be that easy indicator, seeing where everybody is already congregated.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting off at Lightning Rod, obviously. If you land Lightning Rod, you're very much likely to be playing more of an edge style. That's pretty much why teams pick that POI, access to Trident, being able to go downhill, a couple of other reasons. But the way this circle is pulled, particularly, Vicky, is actually great for Rock, because if it goes up further towards, Ye Olde Thunderwatch POI, more teams will sit there, and then you kind of have to go down with them, and it can be a bit of crunch time. The fact that they kind of have it all to themselves, depending on where Legacy come from behind them right now, actually gives them a far easier walk-in to the circle. And there you go. They've spotted out Legacy. We'll have to see if they still want to force the issue or not.
I love how you highlighted that too. Just right on cue with Legacy forced outside of the ring. A little bit of a difficult start here for Legacy. I believe I heard that Youngya was having issues, so maybe playing with the coach as their sub, but with Rock now just gatekeeping them, round 2 is about to start closing in, so they have to make a decision. And yes, actually, you can see it right there. Youngya is not part of the team, so their coach is feeling for him. Hopefully everything gets sorted out for those players. But now Team Falcons also needing to sort themselves, because on their rotate, already getting involved in a fight. 2 members have lost out on their shields basically, and they are going to be able, thanks to the alter TP that they had right there over on the Rock side, able to reset with a shield bat.
Yeah, look, six bats in the backpack. I don't think they're too particularly worried about taking a little bit of damage. The more pressing issue is whether they can find a solid spot in the circle, or whether Unreal Nightmare, Revival, HBM can all pick up and try and gatekeep them successfully or not.
And with Crypto no longer being a threat here for some of these teams after this game, that is. This is the issue. Nano still driving in the Flaming Trident, and it's Trident for Trident. If you look to your side, Accusers also looking at the team, but with the Alter TP at their backs, they think, okay, wait, maybe we could try to take this here. They're approaching from that low ground. Looks like coexisting with another team that's up on the high ground, but the fighting has just not stopped. Huss get eliminated. Sang is able to get that following knock. Nice guys are looking to see if they can get the reset after Sang was able to get the knock. So it's a trade-off on both sides.
Yeah, guys, constantly in struggle street so far. Nice guys. Zestfest look like they should be able to finish them off, but oh my god, hope Kenzo's popping a Phoenix right now. If they want to push this together, nope, has no shields, but still they might be able to get in there. EMP goes off, just try to reset with the res. They're going to use everything, and they have to.
Oh, but then you get the re-knock again on Sang, and Vino's able to get some up from the ring to be able to get that following. Not Cody's dancing through the portal. It's going to be a 1v1. He's really one shot. No! They opened the door. His teammates didn't hold the door. Oh, wait.
Oh my god, he got it.
All right, he's fine, though. I mean, hopefully he's got a medkit or could loot to get one if he doesn't already, but that is some pressure. Talk about the amount of fights that we're having from teams that are still playing outside of the zone, Genome, and now making their rotate through where a lot of these teams are also trying to find themselves in. It's going to be Falcons looking at Gamblers Legacy 2 on the other side.
Yeah, so they've decided to try and go through Command Center, but a couple of teams have already tried this. You can see that because Hal's on the altar, and you can see the death boxes that have littered the floor of Command Center. Will theirs join it, or are they going to add gamblers to the loot?
Oh, I like this. He's actually utilizing the mobility that Alter gets after that perk. Once you take it through your portal, just so that way you can try to get a reset. Good coverage, too, from Guild. But this is a very slow fight, and we already highlighted that there's more than just these 2 teams here in Command Center. Shopify also heard this fight, who are camping out the house that is outside of the gravity cannon that you could take on the very top of Command Center. Legacy could be already up on that high ground after we saw them get forcibly gate-kept by Rock after they make their rotate. And now Geekay also looking to pop this shield bat, but with so much action, Genome, something that we haven't really seen too much of, and it could have actually come out of Geekay themselves, has been the Alter TP reset specifically.
There's definitely a lot of them around. As we said last time in EMEA, it enables a lot of teams who are in good positions in the zone to play more aggressively and start venturing out against these other teams like Falcons who are looking to go inwards.
Without getting taken down first, though, Guild's looking for the res, is going to be able to hide behind his own Caustic Barrel, while Waltzy also got a trade-off. That's going to be the finishing blow onto Zephyr, and now Waltzy gets information being in the Crypto Drone. The iPad Kid doing what iPad Kids do best, and it's going to be taking in some screen time and making sure that they can plan ahead if their pathing is cleared, because this is going to be difficult. Once they're forced out with the ring closing in behind their backs, this one's not only going to hurt, but there's Shopify waiting to gatekeep them. Legacy also on the high ground looking to drop down.
Okay, Zestfest have already taken 1 fight in the zone, and they got out of it by the skin of their teeth. I don't think they're going to survive a second time. No, Kenzo miscalculates, goes down to the zone, and it's a Pyrrhic battle in the south.
Oh no, GD Gaming now slide in. GD with floating, popping off, finding perfections, and also finishing him off. They're incredibly low. CC Alter Portal says, you are absolutely not going to be able to wrap this around me. Shubi wants to be able to try to guess them out, and just like that, the final player gets taken out. HBM are eliminated, Gamblers are gonna follow right afterwards, and Falcons stay alive because Shopify Rebellion with Koi wrapping up on Unreal Nightmare actually gives Team Falcons some room to breathe. Let's jump into a listening with Team Falcons to see how they plan their next move.
They wiped already. Yeah. It was the building team. There's one guy here and 2 guys down here. They're walking up towards us right now.
I think we have to play for the... You have EMP?
No. 20% off. 20% off. They're trying to break it.
66 on the building.
Just play stuff.
Crypto 100 here.
I have EMP and 8%. They're playing on big on the rock.
Okay. You need to push me, Gil.
I have EMP.
Yeah, come.
EMPing.
Yeah, we're going.
They're TPing.
I'm getting shot on the cross. I need TP back.
I'm fine. I'm holding space.
I'm fucking one. I have no bats.
Okay.
I'm trying to throw to something
you could loot.
They're just playing in the building.
We just play for our walk-in, okay? We just play for our walk-in in front of us. Straight in front of us, okay?
Yeah, we need to fuck these guys up. Though.
Yeah, focus the fuck out of the building.
Okay. I grabbed a bats for you, Hal. I have 4 for you.
I'm gonna find I have overflow.
I think the Crypto's ult excelling to try and get EMP back right now.
Okay, so Falcons want to just go for the walk-in here. They're going to have to get past Shopify, who are in that building in front of them, and also be taking fire from teams like Buckle Boys up on Stormcatcher and Rock Esports, who are still playing that position up the hill. And the zone is actually pulled north, Vicky. Rock Esports are in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. When you come in from the north side, you get to make sure that your backs are cleared a lot earlier, considering that's where Rock Esports rotation was part of. Flat do manage to get the respawn too on Nano, and here's where we see in the listen-ins the plan for Team Falcons having to walk up. You mentioned Rock waiting to gatekeep them, but I'm worried here for the teams that still have height. If they could grief them, or, you know, with Shopify Rebellion trying to prio the inside of Stormcatcher, that's not really going to be an issue unless Team Falcons should try to take that fight clear.
Do they want to force the issue? Do they have the utility to do that? It's a little tough on this composition, I would say. It just kind of depends on how many teams are going to look at them from Stormcatcher. But honestly, those teams might all be so worried about each other. They may not have the bandwidth to do this. You can see SR are behind, well, they're behind the reticle of DINOS, apparently.
DINOS here are looking to see if they could also get a reset if they have to get out from this low ground position. But this is also such a chaotic end zone when you have Alter in the lobby. Imagine going up and down, slip and slide from each side of these walls. And if Falcons want to win this game, the best spot is to overtake Rock. So Rock are trying to hold it down, but they're also afraid that DINOS could try to grief them, as Hal is the first one to get taken out. Guild has a Nox grenade. He sends it down, controls a good amount of that space. I love it. Takes the Alter portal right outside the other side of the Rock, and Cersei getting knocked by Waltzy. Guild dancing around not only the portal but the other side.
This is like Guild's specialty, is like winning fights that he just shouldn't be able to win. He just finds that great angle, catches them, you know, by surprise there with the Nox grenade after Hal's got knocked. The question is, can Waltzy, does he even want to take that portal? Can he pull them back? Is there any way for Falcons to reset from this point?
Oh man, Rocket eliminated actually from the back. DINOS,
wow.
They actually griefed Rook. That is insane. I was worried if Shopify could have done something similar to Falcons, but Shopify were just so fixated on the fights that were happening over by Stormcatcher. Now look at this. Zainu is left trying to stay alive. The caustic gas traps could only provide so much cover to work with, and now the ring is closing in behind his backs. It's the 1v1 of Falcons Rat, and the Falcons Rat from Waltzy wins. Shopify are eliminated. They're in the top 4, and now it's up to DINOS to clean up the rest. can, except for DINOS, by the way, who ended up wrapping on the backside of Rock. We knew that the rest of this lobby genome was going to collapse. Seeing a zone like that's always very tough to play from because you have like little to no cover. If the teams, or if there aren't multiple teams at the very least, holding the fence line that are by the gravity cannon. So DINOS, they get to walk up, they see the final player, they finish, and they get that dub to start off our day in Americas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to go back and look at that at some point. I would have thought that DINOS could just jump down and have a go at Buckle Boys could jump down and have a go at taking on DINOS there, but they don't opt to do that. They do end up, however, with 18 points. A good haul for them, and DINOS get 23. They played that so well, just working through the mid game, clearing some space around them, taking out some big dogs like CRT, and then just pouncing on that opportunity to take Rock's spot once Falcons had done the initial damage and wounded them.
Oh man, and now being able to really see how everything played out and talking about what we saw from Unreal Nightmares from the very beginning, trying to get as much KP as you possibly can. Overall, though, DINOS had an explosive first game. They literally got 11 KP, and Buckle Boys following from right behind them were able to get 9 KP. And it's not so surprising, Glitter, as we welcome you back after that explosive first game. It's almost kind of felt like a speed run, like a little. I was talking about how aggressive the start of Mia games kind of played out, but that was literally like whiplash.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dissect that at a later date. For now, we need to bring in Jumba, because I'm being told that Jumba's here to hang out with us today, and I'm also being told that he wants to talk about baby comp, and I have no idea what direction this is gonna go. We saw the beginnings of it with Burger purposefully choosing their legends the way they did to kind of influence the bans and get them where they needed to go to work in their favor. However, I just want everybody to know, shout out to Jumba on YouTube as well, by the way. He did post a video 4 days ago about baby comp and how bad it is for the game. That's what an intro here, Jumba. Welcome. How are you?
How you doing, guys? How you doing? Yeah, putting me on the spot there with that. It's just... And we can get into like Burger first and what they're doing. Like they're the team that wants to play this comp as much as possible. There was times where they were playing it with Crypto on the lobby and they realized like we can't do this. And so they're going in and they're picking Wraith because they know there's going to be a tie between Crypto and Alter. And then they're not picking Alter to manipulate their way. Because like, here's the thing. Maggie, Seer, Alter, those can all counter the baby comp. But it's still serviceable with those characters in. It's not if Crypto's not there. So they want their play style, and they're going to do what they can do to get that baby comp out of here. Or sorry, get that Crypto out of here.
Okay. All right. So does that mean you are in favor of this? You know what? I respect the play to go out of your way to like do what you think is going to make you succeed the most. And clearly, like when it comes to that composition, they are playing the best. They've been in top 3 in Pro League when they have like equal match days compared to everyone else. So, yeah, I fully respect it. Do I like the baby comp in general? As you guys have seen, I have my opinions on it because I think that it makes end games just very unpredictable and very like RNG and random. I also have my opinions on Alter Crypto. What I will say is I like that we do have 2 different comps that are being played throughout this split. The bans are kind of really doing their job right now.
Yeah, I was gonna actually follow because Jumba, we love to theory craft in the green room whenever we're all hanging out at LAN, and I actually it's giving FGC, right? And I feel like when you get teams starting to figure out how they could try to manipulate legend bans, I wanted to kind of dive down into that and ask you, do you think this is going to be something that other regions and other teams in these regions may start picking up and adopting themselves?
I don't know, because there's not as many teams from other regions that are like so set on this baby comp, especially the way that Burger is. Like I was looking at the EMEA comps today and I didn't see it being played at all. Like Gibby didn't get banned to the last game, whereas NA seems to be like pretty strong about it, right? So it's just like, I don't know if they'll follow up as much, but maybe we'll start to see if teams pick up on what Burger's doing, and if they want to play something, start to influence it if they know they can. Maybe I could see maybe that happening.
I mean, the other thing is, right, that NA is all very predictable region. Everyone out there, and so it's honestly harder to push it one way or another, like Burger are doing here. I mean, I even heard them talking about the fact that men of culture are a wild card in this group, and if they happen to play some off-kilter comp in game one, it could like just ruin the the ban advantage that Burger are trying to get.
Well, I think they even got lucky with ROC picking Maggie in this game, because if not, there would have been a tie between Caustic and then the Crypto as well, and then that could have affected them, right? But like overall, I find it pretty interesting that Burger's so set. It shows how confident they are on that composition, because Empty's finished top 5 in a LAN where Crypto was hard meta, and I think like other teams, when they're learning Crypto now, should look to the way Empty played Crypto at that event. So it's not like he's bad on that character. Like, they're very good in it. It's just they love that defensive playstyle, the cycling of abilities. Like, when they play with different characters in the lobby, like, you could see that they are keeping composed and under control. I just don't like when you got 15 teams playing it, how random the end games get, because it feels like those that decision making that gets you to win the game kind of goes out the window. But I know a lot of people have disagreed with me, so I'm open to different opinions and everything like that.
All I'm hearing is you don't know when to slam your shield, man.
Yeah,
You're getting counter slammed. That's what I'm hearing.
I do.
You
I
need
do.
the power amp.
Listen, I played in DLGS back when this meta was like the hard meta back then, and I got slammed in it 24/7. So maybe I'm just bitter. It could be the case.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
The fact that Baby Comp, or rather Burger, has picked Baby Comp like 61% of the time too, is like a heavy indicator on how some teams kind of also are a bit behind in readjusting and the adaptability of these legend bans too, right? You gotta try to manipulate the game here. But also, Jumba, I'm so tired of hearing the words Baby Comp. Like, what the, like, what are your thoughts actually on that?
Do not say diaper.
Yeah,
don't.
I did think that the name has been funny. Honestly, I like the way the game sometimes name it after who's like the best at it, and like, let's call it Burger Comp. That's the way I'd go with it, because they're the guys who define that.
Wait,
yeah, we could just call it that and define it after those guys. That, you know, respect to them.
Wait.
Kind of just sandwiched between the shields.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's perfect. And, you know, some people, like if you throw Caustic in there, they've called it Meat Mountain before because they're the big boys. So, you know, Burger Comp, it's the big.
Wait, okay, done. Okay. Chat doesn't get to decide anymore. Jumba chose. Jumba made the rules. It's now Burger Comp. And all I'm getting out of this discussion too, Jumba, is that you're just essentially saying you want to go to LAN. Because like we've all mentioned, Americas is the one really pushing this comp. You look at the other regions, they're not doing it. So we're not going to get that type of gameplay when we head into a LAN situation. I like this discussion. I want to keep it going. I'm going to step back for now because I think match number 2 is actually about to get into it. You stick around, hang out with the casters, and I'll see you guys later.
Hey, let's get this going. I have now taken on Jumba. Welcome to the chaos. You're going to be joining Genome and I to go through Storm Point. And we got to keep this combo going because, hold on, Burger Comp, I'm actually a big fan of this. It makes a lot of sense. I don't know what it is when it comes to the Apex scene and making up some of these names. Rather, Meat Mountain, what the heck? But anyways, going on to Storm Point Jumba. Like, you see the influence of these legend band comps here. And Gino and I were kind of talking about how some of these teams could play it into their strength in a zone like that too, where all these teams predict Stormcatcher, and then you just see that final player yeet themselves into the sky with a gravity cannon. I mean, how can we see some of these legend compositions develop, you think?
I think it's actually interesting to show how the legend compositions are changing the games and how they're playing out. We would have seen a lot more teams alive there in that end zone there because there was such little cover in Stormcatcher outside the main building. So if you have one of those more defensive comps, I think you get a lot more people living, where instead, when you got just the Caustic, Alter, and Crypto, we had 2 squads going into round 6 there. So that's what I was saying before, where I like it that we see the different play styles that are coming up. But I will, if we want to talk about LAN, 2 things I think will change at LAN a lot. Right now, teams are running this Valkyrie more often when it comes to the burger comp, if we're going to call it that. I think you'll see a lot more controller characters come out because the ring console is the most valuable tool, especially in that LAN lobby when you want to win games. And then the second thing that we have to think about is when the update comes out and this new character that I think is going to be a huge counter to Gibby, right?
That's going to be crazy. I mean, Gino, are you super excited to see how this fast mobility legend is going to play out? Because I feel like that's the one thing that everyone loves about Apex, right? It's being able to manipulate your movement and feel like you're a cracked out player.
Oh, yeah, of course I'm excited, and especially when it comes to match point finals and the pointy end, right? Because that's already where we're getting to a stage where, you know, so many of these defensive legends have been banned out, and we get to see the teams who can just unleash at their full potential. And now if we've got extra tools like Axel, maybe that starts pushing things a little bit back in the Edge comp and Edge team's favor, because I'm sure you'd agree, Jumba, that like we're facing an extinction event right now.
Yeah, and you know, it's even about the ultimate. Like, it can really counter all those defensive legends with going through like a dome or a Newcastle wall and launching up into a sky. I think on Olympus, she's going to be very strong where there's like less cover, and it could kind of kill the burger comp as we see it, because they might not be able to play it till even later if they need her to be banned too. So we'll see what happens there. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, and I'm also being told, by the way, guys, there's too many burger babies, baby comms, literally 12 baby comms. Now that Crypto is out of this lobby, people could feel like they have free reign in getting the double big boy slam into a Gibby bubble reset. You got the electrified Gibby bubble on top of it all, and then the human UAV that is Valkyrie when she gets that blue perk. I mean, Gino, looking at where the zone is pulling to, you talk about the importance of having the survey beacon and ring console from Jumba. HBM do have that over by Cascade, but a lot of these teams are already going on to fight for the Evo Harvester and the scans just to get those perks.
Yep, they're going to need them. It is going very central, which does tend to give teams, you know, a little bit more even of a chance to sort of, you know, grab Evo along the way and make their way with, at the very least, blue shields. It's going more towards Cascades than it did to Stormcatcher last game. And we should also mention it's actually going to be Newcastle banned after game 2. So Baby Comp's already taking a hit.
Not too bad, in my opinion, Jumba. I want to get your opinion because now that you won't have baby comp on E District, I feel like that's not too bad here. Looking at the different end zones that we've had on E District in general, but we still have that one game left on Stormpoint, and we get some crazy longbow shots here too.
No, definitely. And I think the big thing there is, like, with Maggie being around, it's going to make just a Gibby harder to play. But I find Gibby with a controller character can still give some of that defensive playstyle because the electrified dome is just so strong. But it will be much tougher if Maggie's still in the game there. So I think we'll see a lot more Maggies next round if there's a lot of Gibbies also being played.
Definitely something to keep your eyes on. And something else is Jaguares, the double back-to-back. Yanya, hello, welcome back. The coach took a step away, and Yanya looks like they've been able to fix whatever issues that they were having back at home with their internet. And Yanya coming in together with Legacy, already taking out Revival, our first squad out with our Red Bull first strike. Definitely have to relook at how that fight played out earlier on, and Gyozi being one of the Newcastles that we have. And you mentioned the electrified dome, something that was a big shocker to me that made my eyes water was going into that dome to try to contest a Gibby just to lose out on all my shields. We actually saw that kind of play out at the very end in Amia, and now we get to see Legacy rotate out.
Boys just zooming at the moment in that Trident, looking for whatever Evo harvesters they can. There are a couple actually fairly mid-map, which makes it a little bit easier for them to get in and around. Haas, looks like they're chasing crazy Thieves down in Jurassic here, who might just be about to run into Zestfest themselves. Oh, it might kind of stuck between them. I think Crazy Thieves may have to choose which one they want to fight soon. This is DINOS. I just wanted to quickly grab Jumba's thoughts on DINOS, because obviously they won game 1, but not only that, they're like top of the standings almost in the split overall so far, Jumba. What do you think of their efforts so far?
It's been awesome on our pod. I actually picked them as kind of like one of my dark horse teams. We were just doing a fun thing, picking up teams like who we thought like most people would say have no chance of doing well. And I rolled with DINOS for the sole purpose that Future streams here. I have run up against him in ranked, in BLGS.
Yep.
He's joined some of my community customs, and that guy is a demon. He is so good at the game. I've had the chance to talk to him through DMs a couple times. times. And I just, you know, I felt like they might have something going here. Not too technical, but I just was very looking forward to seeing how they compete because I knew he was a very good player and very smart about the game.
I'm so glad you bring up DINOS, dude. I just have to say, like, I actually accidentally ran into Jay Future in one of my the first time wild card was ever introduced, and he was on the Mad Maggie. He went inside. I think he dropped like over like 18. No, sorry, it was like 30 something kills that game. It was crazy. And he was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm streaming Vicky," and I'm like, "Oh, you know me? Okay, cool." I tuned into the stream on TikTok, and he was just popping off. So being able to see him in the ALGS has been fantastic. But Jumba, before we let you go, any final predictions on how today in Americas is gonna go?
Ooh, final predictions. After that last game, I'm gonna say DINOS finish top 3, and then and maybe this is gonna be a kind of a lame pick, but I think Falcons are gonna win. They're gonna bounce back after a lot of talk that happened since their last match day, and I know they haven't been happy with their performance. So sure, I'll throw that out. I think that they're gonna have a huge bounce back today. Even though they've still been doing good, it's not like they're doing bad.
I agree, actually, and that's why a bunch of people are looking at them. But once again, Jumba, thank you so much for joining us. Totally miss you, man. It's been great to always hang out whenever we're at LAN, and I hope you have a great day while we get to watch some more ALGS action.
Thanks, guys.
Mwah! Oh, always good to hear from the lad. Great videos. Go check them out on YouTube if you guys haven't seen already. I think he did one with Monsoon and the Oblivion story recently, which was pretty sick.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Back into the game, Vicky. I was just looking up some stats, actually, while we were having a chat there. And with the win last game for DINOS, it's interesting that you guys are bringing up Future as the guy you've got your eyes on for DINOS, because I like the look of DJ Killer. Right, he had that big breakout moment at the Open, and I can tell you, as of last game, he has the highest average kills, surpassing Imperial Hal in the entire region now.
That's actually crazy here. And just looking already at how crazy Thieves, I'm talking about the baby comp right now, and looking at how some of our heavy fraggers have been doing, looking at how they're going to be able to try to approach this right now with the team playing right underneath them. Oh my goodness, that reaches from the cracks. I mean, I'm not too surprised you could shoot from there too. But Phony now and the rest of Crazy Thieves are just looking to sit down. Let's hear from Phony on his opinion on how these teams have been oppressing others with these comps.
Not everyone can play it. It does require a lot of synergy within your team and communication on who's tacking, who's bubbling, obviously. And then whenever you have to actually do your walk-in or Valkyl, so it does require some sort of coordination. And I do give respect out to Team Burger for being the first ones to do it, but it is kind of annoying fighting like probably 20 of them in a single match.
Okay, I like it, being able to still show that respect, and that's kind of why, Genome, I personally wasn't a big fan of the name, because, you put that in any pub stomper's hands, and they won't be able to replicate, like, that same result, right? Even if you have a lot of insurance policies and covering a lot of bad decisions, I personally feel something very similar when it comes to Alter 2 and being able to TP out when you lose out on a teammate. So, being able to see a lot of these teams still take advantage of how strong it may be right now, in a case like this, you have to worry about how you're forced to bring your bubble. Now imagine you don't have a power amp, the bombardment's been already utilized, and it's going to be Team Burger versus Shopify.
Yeah, fairly isolated unless Zestfest decides to pull up from the south, but it looks like they're actually going towards the Spider Choke to the west, so might be a bit more of an ISO 3v3 here. It's a good point. As I say that, Zestfest, they're coming. They're coming. You can hear it. You can hear that little buzz of the trident in the background because they get a whiff of something and they want to get involved. As we wait for this to kick off, the teams might not want to fight because of the potential third-party implications here. As Zestfest actually go past them into the zone. Interesting. But it was an interesting point about like ranked there, right? Because the reason this composition works in competitive is because there's so many threats from so many sides. It's not going to work in ranked because, that Pred team that's chasing you down is just going to run around behind your Newcastle wall and shoot you, right? Like, it's a very different scenario, and it's very particular to ALGS competitive.
Great, I love how they kind of flew by them and they're like, mind your own business here. And when we take a look at more of these teams, trying to safely not only get information but prevent themselves from getting 3P'd. Look how quickly, look how quickly that team that was about to fight between what we witnessed between Shopify and Burger just stopped, because now Shopify, they get the reset after they had their ulti TP right behind them. It forces up the Newcastle wall facing the opposite side here, and no way, the wrecking ball misses out, but now flying around, just trying to provide extra cover. The bombardment comes crashing down over their heads, and Zainu sees some free pickings playing Duck Hunt and taking that Valkyrie out of the sky.
Too easy for Shopify. Getting the drill, I think it was onto the wall before the electrification activated, was just enough to swing that in Shopify's favor.
Talk about also reversing a situation that could have gone pretty badly with a possible 3P, and then being able to come out with KP. Now, something that can't be said about that, and that pressure that Team Burger's feeling, is currently Jet, who's now knocked, and now they're all just completely wiped out. Nice guys. Going to be able to try to get their teammates back and the reset, but that's going to be Team Burger eliminated.
Man, they are going through it today. That said, they're in a prime position, Vicky. The circle is pulling exactly where we're looking right now, to that house. We've seen, I think even this split, actually, I'm remembering a game early on that maybe Crazy Thieves won, something like that, ends just outside this building to the right-hand side. So we'll have to see if it's pixel perfect in terms of its replication of that. Zestfest looks like they got that res on Stormcatcher. The one member did get away to the replicator and the respawn beacon over there, and Shopify have had to follow them in. Now trying to just lay down their Void Nexus and potentially try and take a fight against Rock. That is, of course, unless GK decides to third-party them.
And I think there also looks like could be flying right over them here too. They got information if they are on that Valkyrie, of course, with everybody else basically running baby comp here. And Falcon's doing something similar too, with that human UAV, getting a scan on where they could land, where is safe to play. Shopify creeping up, have set up their portal, and they're looking to ape the 3-2-1 as they push on the aggression. And following up here too, having to be careful that nobody's going to be trailing from right behind them. And it's going to be tough, too, because while this is an isolated fight, Zestfest are calling in an evac, and they are flying over to prio the zone currently. Rock taking a page and also doing something similar. So Shopify have cleared up this north building, but with nobody around them, Shopify must know that that is not where the zone is going to be pulling.
Oh man, people are piling in, and we're kind of getting into the exact situation that Jumba was talking about before, where there is enough little crevices for people to just set up shop with their Gibby and with their Newcastle, and then just fight it out in an absolute free-for-all towards the end.
Now Rock here with Vax losing out a good chunk of that heals. Alternator has a double tap here in Saucer's hands, and he's got the 3 bombardments, a cheeky spot to take these shots. Genome from underneath the staircase, but look at who else is within the vicinity. So many teams are going to force their way into this next zone, and it's insane that we still have 18 squads going into a zone like this, and it's going to be Gamblers and Shopify also taking isolated fight from the north side, but it's got to be cleanup on aisle 3 for Rock to find that first knock, make it to Vax, the back-to-back one clip on having the R9 and a purple mag.
Very nice, very nice. Rock need to clear out this building, but even if they do, they're going to have Unreal Nightmare, DINOS, Team Falcons, Zestfest nearby and potentially willing to have a go at them, because none of them will be in the next zone. Those buildings are completely out as SR managed to clean up Gamblers. They've got the whole north side of the zone to themselves, but the real question is, can they slide down and find, maybe a little rock to hide behind as the zone pulls ever further south?
Pulling on towards where exactly Flats and Legacy called out. It's a little bit of a different look when you have Yanya back into the fray, but it's not so great look for Guild, who gets taken out. No more bubble and no more Falcons. Their wings have been clipped, and it is DINOS, your winners of game number 1. Jumbo and I were talking about Jay Future earlier. Genome, you were highlighting how crazy DJ has been playing, and now they wipe out Falcons, who found themselves pinched. As Shopify also make their next move, let's jump into a listening with Shopify to see how they play in an intense zone like this.
Can we go stairs? Can we go stairs? Can we go stairs? Oh, you're going to stairs, guys. We have stairs, going upstairs.
Team stairs. One shot.
Trying again. Yeah, maybe. Can you try that? Keep trying to get him up, try to get him up.
Yeah.
Swing, out swing. Are you good? Swing out.
Yeah.
One hard swing, one hard swing.
One circuit.
Yeah, make on.
He's in circuits on him, left side. He's peeking. He's challenging.
Well, they're not exactly what I'd call calm under pressure, but they definitely were under pressure with that Valkon into the middle of the zone, Vicky.
the screaming, like we've all been there, but with the intensity of just landing where you're seeing a moving wrecking ball, trying to find space to play from, and unfortunately, that's a drawback of making a late rotate. Maybe they didn't have that ring console info, which is what I was saying before, you know, kind of like that indicator to let them know that that's not where the zone's going to be pulling, and with a late rotate like that, you have little to no real estate to play from. So out of the fray, even though they found themselves with 6 KP and a lot of damage on the board fight after fight that they were taking, DINOS still being alive, and with no Gibby, it means that being one of the few teams here with a Watson, Alter, and Mad Maggie, they gotta plan their next move. They send out the wrecking ball, but they lose out on the Watson. That is chaos.
DINOS won the first game. They currently have the most points out of anyone in this game as well. So with 31 points to their name, it's already a good day for them, just 2 games in. But we've still got 11 squads up, Vicky. Round 5. It's round 5. We've got 11 squads up. This is good quality Apex here, but of course, we've also got squads that are built for survivability. So we probably should expect that in a ring like this with compositions like this.
Welcome to the circus. I wouldn't have it any other way, Genome. Some great Apex here. 11 squads still left, and it's going to be a bloodbath in this next zone. Buckle Boys are flying about. Where can they land? They're not the only ones. Men of Culture are doing something similar. Guess what? They can land right on top of Legacy, and some of these teams are going to get griefed. It's going to happen no matter what. While Crazy Thieves have to be careful they don't get kidnapped with the altered portals right underneath their feet, knowing that there is a team still playing right under them. They want to try to get some KP while cleaning up the teams that are fighting right underneath them.
So funnily enough, it's a mirror of that zone we saw earlier in the split. It's on the left side of the building, and the architecture on this side is a little different. We'll have to see how teams use that to their advantage. Oh my God, just face-checking a Peacekeeper. Not a great idea, JDG.
Yeah, Yanya's going insane. Yosei also being able to get that knock onto Nani. Buckle Boys do get eliminated too when we're talking about the 2 teams that were trying to fly around and find their own space. Now you have Deeds, last one alive, trying to clutch. It's going to be up to Jelly, though, as they play around a Newcastle wall. Is this going to be enough cover for them hiding behind each knockdown shield? Yanya gets another knock. Welcome back, Yanya, as he finds them completely. Men of Culture get eliminated. Talk about having a clutch positioning on a bubble, too.
He didn't make it into game 1, and by God, he's making up for it here in game 2. 7 kills already for El Presidente. He is coming back into this series with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah. Presidente, he is here to dictate how everything goes. Rock Esports came close in that last game. They want revenge. And now, having to play with their backs against the wall, but they hear all the fighting happening. They need some information. It's not like they have an alter portal, so that way they can get a scan through the wall here. Crazy Thieves aren't giving up this high ground. They're dancing around the top side of the roof. It's up to Jen. Gets the finishing blow with the hemlock, but having to put down the dome right after they saw the wrecking ball does not help them out, because Phony is back on the high ground to get a shield swap, and he's down to a solo.
Damn, I really thought their position on the high ground was going to be solid, but yeah, was it the altar portals? Crazy Thieves, unfortunately, just down to 1.
Now with 7 squads left here, Phony trying to stay alive. Being on a Valkyrie is great for a zone like this until the top of this building is closed in on by the ring, because at least you have more of that verticality. You could dance around the bombardment. He's going to get information right now, take it to the skies. He has the purple perk that lets him take the skyward dive faster, so you don't have that startup. You don't have the risk of the ring doing even more damage. And look at this. Neighbors here. As we see flat on the other side, Purple Slushy tried to stay alive. The zone closing in forces out this bubble, and now we have at least 1 bombardment. You don't have another one to follow up and look like right afterwards here, and Crook sends it down at their feet. D just is trying to stay alive, being one shot.
Purple Slushy, oh my God. trying to turn other people into a slushy right now. They're in the death boxes in front of them. They're out of zone soon. They can't rely on this bubble for much longer. And Legacy have a great spot looking down upon other people. No ult cells in the backpack for Jaguares, but he's got one bombardment left to use.
Yanya's saying, don't forget, I am the captain now. A presidente for a reason. All those shield cracks, by the way, just music to my ears. Flat still playing for their dear life as now Legacy move up. Unreal Nightmare get dove on. And now Unreal Nightmare having to stay alive, losing out on Davis, but they wanted to take off their opportunity to find some free KP. They follow up. Legacy still a full 3-man in this final zone to take the dub. They started off slow with some connection issues. They bring Yanya back. They drop double-digit KP, and they take game number 2.
Hot diggity. That is a statement there from Legacy. I mean, look, we were talking about Josie playing his last game with them here. He's here to show them that he is, look, he's deserving of the spot, and, well, they're not going to be playing with him after this week, but they've clearly got the potential.
I was gonna say, Gino, like, imagine dropping a game like that, and again, it takes some time to build up some synergy. Let's not get overzealous, even if we've had, you know, our comfort in playing with the same players, but that was a heck of a game for Legacy. The dub, 17 KP, by the way, for this team, but it was Yanya who took on 10 himself on the Valkyrie. Love the way these first 2 games have shaped out, Gino.
They've been pretty fun ones. And as we can see there, Newcastle, a heroic defender, is gone. And that is going to shake up compositions from here on out. Will we see people start bringing in the Maggie now to deal with the Gibraltars that are left? Will we start seeing more caustics now that we've got no big boy in terms of the Newcastle to pair in those defensive compositions?
And looking at how the series results have already shaped out, I mean, after a game like that one, not only do you secure the dub, you get it with that big, massive KP, double-digit KP like we had seen already from DINOS in their first game where they won with 11 KP, but then you drop a big kahuna of 17 KP here for Legacy, and they're moving all the way up to that first place spot. It's a bit of a gap already built between even Legacy and DINOS and then the rest of this lobby.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this and I'm like, this is a game 2 scoreboard. This looks like a game 3, game 4 scoreboard. The way Legacy and DINOS have been putting up points so far. And this is after I came out and said, oh, it's such a close region. You know, it'll be down to the wire. It's like, oh my God, these guys are just attaching booster rockets to themselves.
And you want to take a look at how Legacy even played that out, how we saw a Presidente drop 10 KP. Well, guess what? If you want more control on how you want to watch the ALGS, we have our new multi-view experience. Make sure you guys follow the multiple player point of views just so that way you can get some tips and implement it into your own gameplay. You can even write out your own notes here and kind of showcase how maybe some of these rotational ability legends that we keep seeing have been able to benefit a lot of these teams. And don't forget, that's algs.ea.com. But guys, Gino, it's been crazy to see how the action's already shaped up here in Americas. I love Apex, man. I love to see zones like that. So many teams collapsing on one another. And we still got one more game to go on Storm Point before we transition over to E-District. Don't go anywhere, because on the other side of this break, we got game number 3 for you.
Into game 3, one more game left on Storm Point. Legacy's in first place at 37, DINOS in second, and Buckle Boys in third. We have an 11-point gap between second and third right now, and a 6-point gap between first and second. If Legacy keeps this up, we'll see what goes down, man. Overall kill leader in 2 is Yanya. Yanya had 10 KP last game. Didn't even show up for game 1. He's the kill leader through 2. I love to see it. Overall damage leader is Huntsman and that boy Cody. We'll see what goes on here for this game number 3 on Storm Point. Lock the fuck on in. Let's do this. Holy shit, man. What a time to be alive. And like I said, bro, once Newcastle's gone, Gibraltar's value fucking is shot to the ground until you have the Mad Maggie ban. If Mad Maggie is still alive and active in this scene when it comes down to the fucking compositions, you cannot run solo dolo Gibby. It is just not good. So you really have to wait to actually rock Gibby until Mad Maggie's banned. If you do it now, you could try it. It might work out in certain situations, but if you get the luck of the draw and there's 2 squads with Maggie surrounding you, you get fucked. You get absolutely fucked. So I want to really see with this Game 2 ban, which is kind of a wild card, what squads are going to run what. What up, Shiv? I love you, buddy. I'm curious, man. We'll see what goes on here, man, in this game number 3. I love you guys. Crazy. What counters Maggie? I mean, Newcastle, Gibraltar are like the only things that really heavily counter Maggie. And even I don't know. I really don't know with this early in the set. I want to point out of all the fucking sets I've watched so far this split, a lot of Apex internationally, Americas, in scrims, Greek I watched as well in the Newcastle gameplay. There's not many times, I don't think a single time other than EMEA where Newcastle was banned game 2. And maybe like once or twice in a set. And that's for scrims. It's never happened a game 2 ban in Newcastle, brother, in ALGS yet. From what I'm aware of. This has never happened. So I have no idea what's expected. And this got to be a surprise for pretty much all players moving forward here too in this game 3. Storm Point is about to get a lot harder. Lock on in. Game 3, let's do this shit. Holy fuck.
Point with Newcastle being the one that was banned out, that definitely is going to mess up some of our team strats.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm interested to see what they pick instead. As I said, I'm expecting a fair bit of Caustic to creep in there, potentially to replace that, especially if teams want to play a similar style. I think that's kind of the closest, fit in terms of what you can do instead. It doesn't really fulfill the same role, but I think as a team, you can still sort of play similarly with the big guy.
Also could start depending on, I mean, if it's up to Burger, they could start trying to ban around who they would prefer to keep when we head into E-District, who they prefer on each map. Lots of things that I guess our teams could start doing. If people start adopting the Burger way and start trying to ban around certain compositions or certain legends, it could completely shake things up. And like I was mentioning when we were talking to Jumba, this really only applies in the Americas. Once we get to an international level where we have all of our regions together, we're not going to be seeing the exact same types of comp results.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some regional differences for absolutely sure. Having a look at some of the Shopify stats just right here. This is just from match 2. You can see they managed to grab a couple of kills before we saw that ill-fated flight into zone from Shopify. It was a rough one, right? Like, I don't know if there really was a better play, though, of course. There's just so many teams alive, so many spots already taken that at that point, sometimes you just have to hit that like Hail Mary fly into zone and hope that maybe you can force your way in. Because if there's anyone that can back themselves to just take a random fight and win, it is Shopify.
You know, one thing that I am liking, at least out of Shopify, we were kind of questioning if what we saw last time around was a one-off or more was it the start of something that we had expected out of Shopify from the beginning. And you know where they're at currently in the series, keeping themselves at least in the top 5. I know it's only 2 matches in, but I feel like we're starting to see more and more of that consistency. That was the big question mark. We talk about it a lot. And now that we've got them here in a top spot and also getting the kills along the way, even if match 2 wasn't ideally where they wanted to be placement points wise, they are still looking so much stronger than the first few weeks of Split 1.
It was worrying. You know, like sure, we were talking about beautiful butterflies before, but I was kind of worrying that there was a failure to launch at the start of the season. And I think those fears were, in some way justified considering the lack of results in Japan, where they were probably one of the biggest shocks, maybe outside of Team Liquid, in terms of their performance at Champs.
100%. And we've got quite a few teams, and we haven't really even touched on this yet, but we've got quite a few teams that I think everyone is going to be keeping their eyes on the further we get through the split, because that's when we start looking at the bubble. Who's going to be inside the bubble? Who's right outside of it? Who's pushing to get into it? And are they capable of doing that? We just finished match 2, and Purple Slushy was one of the top 4 teams after that performance. They are someone who I think we need to kind of be looking at when it comes to this overall, because they were in a spot that doesn't necessarily have them probably where they would ideally like to be, but I think that they have the potential to continue pushing up.
Yep, that's a 20th. And as far as split points go, Glitter, that's a big fat donut there for Purple Slushy on day 3. They're in 28th spot overall right now. That doesn't make it to regional finals. That is, in fact, I believe that's in relegation territory, right? So it's just not looking good for them right now. And obviously Deeds and Crook have had some decent results before. It's kind of weird to see them this far down, but at the same time, I don't know, like there's just so many talented teams in NA right now that it's hard to say that they should be better than Shopify's in 17th.
Yeah, I feel like this region there are definitely quite a few surprises in the Americas, and I think part of that is because it's just such a strong region. We talk about how good Americas are historically across all of the ALGS competitive history, and so it's that much more difficult to find yourself at even the middle of a region that is consistently that strong, as we kind of get a visual of what I was talking about here with some of these teams where they are. Purple Slushy specifically heading into today being in that 3rd column, and at this point it's really about just pushing up to not be relegated. That's like step 1, and then once you can get past that step, then you start pushing up further in the pack and nailing down whatever's going to work for you and your trio.
Oh man, I just can't wait to see the character select screen for this one, to be honest. As we said, with Newcastle out, pretty keen to see what the teams are picking up instead. Hopefully not too long to go now before we load in and get a little sneak peek of that. Here we go, teams dropping in. I'm seeing a lot of Watson, a lot more Watson than Caustic than I expected.
Which also means that Alter again will live to see another day. We'll see Alter in E District.
Five or game 6 in some of the other regions. Probably not going to happen here in Americas, but the fact that she's survived even this far, and as you say, into E District, is kind of fun for some teams that prefer that play style.
You know, we're jumping in on Crazy Thieves, who we saw have a pretty decent match number 2. I actually want to throw to a quick statement from Phony about what it was like to finally get Jen back on the squad.
I'm feeling better now than I was at the beginning of the season, just considering that we have Jen back. He's really he's a really strong mechanical player and like star player on any team he's on, and he's just able to make something out of nothing. So having him on the team is, you know, really, really great in those stressful scenarios where we can't get something down. So I have high hopes for this weekend and every weekend basically going forward.
You know, Genome, that was like a big topic of discussion as well. Like, obviously, they're a very different look squad when they don't have Jen. Now, being able to get him back into the group it was definitely the ideal situation.
Yeah, that's probably an understatement there. Yeah, I mean, of course, you take Messi, you take Ronaldo, you take I don't know, Tom Brady. I guess we're in the Americas. I should make some references they understand, I suppose. Yeah, they're not going to be as good. That's what it's like taking Jem Burton out here. But look, we can get back to how good he is in a second, because we got Buckle Boys going up against another team over here, very much in mid-map, but it looks like HBM might have just gotten out through the portal.
Dang. A little early. A little early to be being this aggressive. Perfections also debating maybe pushing back in, seeing if they can get the banners. Able to get the banners with absolutely zero pressure applied against them, so that could be a potential reset.
Yeah, what's going on there? I mean, Buckle Boys have got all 3 up, right?
Yeah.
And they've just like got scared off by one person. Look, I'm not sure exactly what their thought process there is. Like, maybe they're just that scared about getting into zone and making sure they get a good spot. But it did feel a little weird that they didn't finish that, you know, sort of finish their meal there.
Maybe they made an assumption that he had just decided to fully leave. We'll have to see how that plays out. Definitely not only now a looting opportunity for Perfections, but a reset opportunity for all of HBM. So we'll check back in with them in just a little bit. Meanwhile, back on board with the winners of match number 1 in DINOS here, seeing what they have planned for themselves here as they're going through this rotate. Did I just see the respawn come in? I think I did.
Boom, they're back. Yep, that's HBM coming in back over at Cascades. So, well, I hope they don't come in and take on Buckle Boys and they have to, you know, later regret their actions. But I guess we will see. Dino's going now up against Team Burger, but Slayer has found them first and he hits the 108. That's the kind of, we're seeing more and more players, by the way, pick up this longbow. And from what I saw, the trendsetters here were Shopify Rebellion. I saw the kids, i.e. Zainu and Koifel running R9 longbow before anybody else was. And it seems to be creeping out. So it feels like there's something to this. And the 108s, it's like you literally hit one bullet and you force them to use a flesh med. Like resource-wise, it's actually quite intensive.
It is. It is. And you could tell that it instantly terrified Dinos. They got out of there as quickly as possible. Burger was going to hunt them down if they did not have that cannon at their disposal. So Dinos do end up safe over in Stormcatcher while Burger hang back and see if they can grab any last little bits of loot or look for any additional information.
That should favor Shopify Rebellion. Of course, it's, you know, not much of a heal zone, more of a wall zone. So they have made their way into the POI. They're not trying to play from high ground or anything too fancy like that. Then again, who knows? Maybe it'll be a pull back towards where Buckle Boys are sitting on one of the zipline buildings, at which point a team like Revival will have a better chance to make it in from the spider chokes.
We get to see what's happening with Revival. Seems that they've run into Men of Culture across the way.
Ooh, they're just riding it? Are they hoping Men of Culture are going to come here and try and hit one of these beacons?
No way.
That'd be great.
There is a solo split off from Men of Culture off to the side.
And they're not playing Seer either. So it's not like they're going to, you know, grab the heartbeat sensor and work out that there's someone lying in wait here. Vottery is his brain mush from all the Apex he's been playing already today, the collegiate. Has he left enough for the real thing here in ALGS?
No, I don't know. You could see that his spidey senses are tingling a little bit. He is a little bit concerned, playing this very safe. It's also possible his teammates are kind of filling him in as he moves forward. Hasn't spotted anybody yet, but I like how conservatively he's wrapping around this building.
Well, I mean, the other thing is Madness is on Seer, right? So it doesn't matter if Vottery is like crouching and walking around. It's not the noise. He's got the tracker on him. He knows he is above. And there we go. They spring the trap. The R9 comes out. Vottery shouldn't have a chance here. Surely. There we go. They get the knock.
Barely, and Falcons did take some damage in return, so they didn't make as aggressive of a push. But you see Hal moving in thinking that they could win this. Oh, is he going to be able to close this one out?
Oh, he must be trying to get the med kit off right now. Seeing Nano knows he's going to have to do it soon as well. Looks like it was just a syringe. Actually, and he's going to throw the ultimate. Does he have any? Is he flat fighting in zone?
Yeah. That was also, I'm sorry, I was laughing at the ragdoll animation of MT's body just slowly rolling down the stairs with his death box. Oh, what a way to go. We're checking back in with this fight, though, with DINOS. They now have moved a little bit farther up, find themselves next to Rock Esports. Zestfest down here with HBM. This whole eastern side of the circle is going to slowly collapse on it. And if they continue to take this fight, Unreal Nightmare are also in the vicinity.
Yep, zone's pulling very much into the buildings of Wall itself. So these teams need to sort out their differences down here and start making their way over the kills. Oh, doesn't manage to catch them out before they get back to safety. HBM have gotten out here. So Unreal Nightmare, though, they're also looking at this. Falcons have
forth with Huss. You can see that they were in a rough spot because of it. So they back off. Falcons back in this fight with Revival. When is this going to end, Gino?
Yeah, I mean, we said round 2. I think the ladies just walked past with the round 3 above her head. Revival have finally been eliminated by the zones, also partially Falcons, but considering they had them... Oh, no! That nade has just sent Hal flying. And, I mean, I'm going to be honest, they only have Legacy to thank for this, by the way. Both times they were about to get through Revival, Legacy poked their heads out down that zip line from Wall and just made Falcons' day hell.
That was rough. Rock Esports eliminated in the kill feed. Unreal Nightmare eliminated in the kill feed. And we are now down to our top 10 teams in the lobby. As you can see, GK off in the distance taking a little bit of damage here from DINOS as they move in. Knocked is knocked. Legacy eliminated the kill feed. Everything is popping off right now.
Yep. Here's Big Dog J with 5 kills to his name already. That was Jumba's man to look out for in this series, and he's showing us exactly why they're still number 2, though, must be noted, behind Legacy, who now have been eliminated after successfully griefing Falcons' game and moving up into that number 1 spot with 41 points.
See a respawn on Sang for Nice Guys there. Able to get him back in. Purple Slushy here, and a little bit of a back and forth with Flat. You can see they're constantly trying to peek and do a little bit of damage, but Flat do have the tiniest bit of an advantage here. Does force the bubble, and Flat's trying to jump in and push his fight.
Yeah, okay, so they've just rezzed someone. He's still dropping out of the dropship right now. They thought that was the time to push in against Purple Slushy, who were barely, like, injured at this point. A very, very... questionable push there by Flat, who have turned a 2v3 into a 1v3.
I thought they were a full 3 making that move, because that's crazy.
Oh, they only just they were rezzing Q as the other 2 pushed down.
Well, that's gonna be a rough path to try and rat for Q there, as we get to see what Zestfest are looking to do. They've got JD Gaming in their vicinity, who is in a little bit of a 2-on split, though, so Zestfest could recognize that and potentially push in with a 3-2 advantage right now, and this might be an opportunity to clear them out.
They're kind of fighting for the outside of the wall here. There's enough of the zone that it can accommodate 1, maybe 2 teams. GK will go down, but DINOS are on the other side of this, and if they can clear out Zestfest, they might get just enough points to take back the lead from Legacy.
Well, Zestfest now back down to a solo. They've been here before. Can they recover? DINOS throw out that wrecking ball and see if it can connect. let's pop into a quick listen in with DINOS and see how they handle winning this fight.
Is this over here? Or is it?
Quick.
On me. Full safe on me, guys.
No.
Safe on me. Full safe on me. Top 6. Is it a whole 3-man? Can we queue on them?
No. I think he's just running.
I don't. Wait. They're
Let's go. They're on Watson. I'm climbing up. They just press. Hold on. I'm breaking the gen and drilling it. Nice. Good
Nice.
I didn't kill me. Yeah, no kills.
Push up.
Get nades. Why's the quality so bad? It's because of us. We're too powerful.
Bro, I have 0 kills, 8 assists. What the fuck?
Nades on me.
So
I'm grabbing all the nades. Okay, I got all of them. There's one more action. We need to look for our walk-in. I think we can walk in. There's a gimme team. It's a gimme team here. We shoot left, kill everyone left, and then we kill the gimme team. And it's just over.
Okay. Their team here. Team here licking.
Beat up left. Bitch left. I'm bitching left. Pitching left, and then we drop down to my yellow ping, and then we fight the gimme team from there, because I can drill them.
Well, look, DINOS are high in the standings right now, and it sounds like they're high on life as well. They are just loving what is going on. I mean, that Q through the wall, they predicted perfectly. They know where they are. They grab a couple of extra KP, and right now, Glitter, a lot of space to themselves. They're not quite in the zone just yet, but as that ball fails to destroy the Maggie as the dome, I thought that would have hit. Apparently not.
I think it bounced just off to the side of it, so they weren't getting the result they wanted, but still somehow the breach charge comes through. Things are working in DINOS' favor right now. I mean, this is a very strong push from the last 3 fights they've done to gain this position, Genome. DINOS have done exactly what they needed to do.
Oh, they just can't be stopped right now. I mean, these guys are on such a tear. They do need to get Jay Future back up here, but they have cleared space for themselves. They found themselves in the zone, and now it's up to Shopify Rebellion, who have been biding their time. As we said, as we predicted right from the start, good priority into these wall zones. They've used it well. They've got 6 kills so far this game. And now an amazing drill coming out from Koifel. He's got infinite ammo. If you've got power ramps, putting them on Maggie can be super helpful for exactly positions like those. You can just absolutely obliterate teams who are trying to hide behind cover.
You see this solo ratting here. We've got Crook for Purple Slushy, just barely safe, just barely alive. Oh no, as I say that, he does finally go down. We're down to top 3 squads. You've got Gambler, Shopify Rebellion, and DINOS trying to hold whatever space available there is. But DINOS are the only ones closest to where the circle will eventually move. Shopify are going to have to leave this building, start to push in, and they keep looking DINOS' way. So DINOS might be in a bit of a pinch.
Yeah, that's all you need to worry about when you've got 3 teams left in the zone. You need to have a plan to force the other team to fight the other team. The other team. It's all about trying to force them into each other, right? That's it's what you need to do. You see, Koi is the first to go down, though. This is not great. Zainu's also hit the floor, and with the advent of hemlocks everywhere, knockdown shields are not what they used to be.
You know, those are still massive kills out of DINOS. Even if they aren't able to capitalize on this, they still got a lot of KP down. Nice with the punch. Shopify eliminated. DINOS now secure top 2.
DJ against the last 3, though. They know exactly where he is, and with some care package weapons, Gamblers will take the dub, but not before DINOS add another 13 kills to their tally.
What is in the water today?
Yeah, what are they feeding these dinosaurs? Like, I don't know.
That was just from DINOS POV, Genome. That was just such clean textbook Apex. Like, they made the right decisions for the last 5 fights of their game. They pushed when they needed to. They used their advantages when they needed to, and focused on getting those last bits of KP. When they realized they were pinched, but they were doing a ton of damage to Shopify, they pushed that, tried to capitalize on that to at least get a few more points on the board, because at the end of the day, it was Gamblers who were just left completely untouched, and they had a better position. They were fully healthy, and of course, they are able to get that win. But in general, what we saw out of DINOS after they also have the win in match number 1, they look incredible today.
And they're feeling it as well, right? Like, there was no stress or pressure there, really. It was just like pure elation and enjoyment. And fair enough, when you are more than 10 points ahead of the second team and more than 20 points ahead of the third team just coming into the second map.
Yeah, that was a really, really strong performance. But now it's time for us to change maps, which also means it's time for a short break before our halftime show. But we do have a very special halftime show for all of you at home. An interview with John Larson with some brand new information about season 29. So stick around because you don't want to miss it. We'll be back on the other side of this break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Let's get straight into it. Take it away, Dia.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I'm excited to talk about this new and upcoming season with John. John, thank you very much for joining us. I think the last time we had you on the ALGS broadcast was in Germany, so it has been a while. A lot has changed since then. I'd like to hear about the highlights of this upcoming season, especially Axel, who I know is your pride and joy.
Yes, Axel has been a greater part of my work for the last year plus. So she's the highlight for me, and then I guess we got another major feature, that I have already seen much chatter about in the Respawn from Deathbox feature.
I have a lot of questions already. I'll start with one that I've been hearing some mixed information about, specifically around her tactical. When she throws out the pad and everybody can go over it to get better slide, do they share her passive when they get that, or is this a separate boost that also applies to her? How does this work?
It's essentially her passive. It's a slightly different. It feels slightly different. As Axel versus someone else. So taking a pad will give you that increased speed and then increased lateral control, similar to her passive. It sort of compounds a bit as Axel, so she is able to sort of maintain momentum a little bit better, carve just a little tighter around corners. But yeah, you get a noticeably juiced slide when you take it as Axel or as anyone else.
And if we have two legends running in a straight line and I suppose sliding to maximize their speed as they do it, is Axel actually faster, or is it more about control in the slide?
She can outpace, someone just from chaining slides. And
okay,
as you get a feel for different types of terrain, that she can definitely maintain momentum better going down a hill. It's not the difference isn't as noticeable going uphill, but yeah, in a straight line, if she's kind of carving carving through the map and maintaining momentum, yeah, she can pull ahead of others.
So is this legend an attempt to half the Octane player base, at least get some of one of the most picked legends, especially in pubs, to, I guess, be a little more diversified in what they're playing?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly right. No, so it's a good question. Kind of zooming out to early Axel days. The first prototype for the slide gate was born out of a sort of movement deep dive we did following like Valk's 2-year reign in ALGS, where she was a must pick in the competitive scene, and Octane was nowhere to be found. And then conversely, in more casual matches, Octane was the highest pick rate by a long shot, and so you had this discrepancy in pick rate across different skill bands or different modes for movement legends. And so an early challenge with Axel was to like, how can we bridge this gap, or how can we like expand the movement toolbox? Because it's obviously fun in Apex, right? Like it's something that Apex does so well. So it's moment to moment fluid movement. Players obviously like it, with these characters being popular. How can we make a character that offers the team utility that you need in like a comp setting, who also offers some solo playmaking potential in pubs, and the sliding seemed like an interesting vector there, but it kind of stems from this attempt to bridge the gap between movement legends and feeling capped in certain game modes.
Speaking of the relationship to comp that you mentioned, we've had a lot of buffs to Octane in the last couple of patches, and we've also had Pathfinder with a brief stint in the ALGS, especially when he had the damage reduction on his zipline. But for the most part, skirmishers don't really see as much time in the ALGS. Do you see Axel changing that, or for the moment, is this more of a legend for the ranked ladder?
It's a good question. I think the biggest reason, or a bigger reason, why skirmishers are capped in ALGS is because of the Evo potential is not the same. The sort of Evo and utility potential for the team is not the same as Assault or your player scan or your console scan. So they're a little capped in that way. Does Axel's kit offer enough utility in sort of what comp players are looking for? I like to think so, especially like in now this system where we have things like legend bands. I think she offers a lot of utility for like when micro rotates or edge. I think she also speeds up like looting and early rotations quite a bit with chaining together these tack gates. And then the biggest thing I think in I guess the current comp meta, the baby comp meta, is that the old drone will go through all of these hollow wall type of things. So, you know, Gibby Bubble, Newcastle Tack, the top part of Rampart Wall. If the drone has acquired a lock-on to Newcastle before that is placed, it won't care that you're not placing the bubble. And so, like, does that offset some of the ability to stabilize so well and cycle abilities if you're able to sort of negate that in a sense and punish people that or try to hide behind those? Is this
a fast ult? Like, is this something you have to react to very quickly, or like I don't know? Is it more of a looming threat for a little while?
It could be both. There's it definitely looks to close the gap quickly if it's acquired lock on from range, but there is a sort of min range, so you can't just immediately like face check from point blank. There is time. There's a chase sequence window. There's an explosive sequence window, and it starts to wind up and let you know that it's about to detonate.
And you mentioned the Evo earlier and how skirmishes relate to that, how Axel maybe has a little more access to Evo because of how fast you're able to get around the map. What are Axel's perks? What can people look forward to as they play the game?
Yeah, I think she's got a pretty compelling upgrade tree. So the level 2 perks are Super Slider, which gives you an extra tack charge, and that's paired against Automata, which gives you an extra ult charge. So do you want to create your own racetrack and chain your gates together more often, or do you like the added utility of having another ult charge in the back pocket at times? And then for level 3, we have Jump Gate, which converts the Nitro Gate into a jump gate that gives all users a boosted jump out of a slide. This can be helpful for opening up traversal options or crossing over gaps. And then my personal spicy one that I choose is sliding shooter, which gives you basically an extended mag plus if you're shooting while sliding.
I'm not going to say who told me, but I bet you'll guess. You were kind of a terror in the playtests on Axel. Where did you feel that Axel was strongest in the game and weakest compared to other legends?
I'm glad to hear I was a terror in playtest. I'm clinging on to the fact that I'm still the #1 Axel in the world until May 5th, I think. So to kind of rewind to early Axel days, like, she had this really fun tactical. It was like, okay, there's obviously something here. This is a good loop we got going. But then, like, so I could reposition, but like, now what? Or what do I do with that? And that's where the ult kind of came in, where I felt like there was something, if there's something that can allow her to just empower her to do what she does best, which is sliding around, like taking angles, using map knowledge. And so that's why, she doesn't have to be super precise with the aim of this thing. Set it out in direction. It's sort of cutting off an angle for you, and you're allowed to, see the lock on and sort of make a play off that. But it keeps movement at the focus, and even the output of the ult, I want to be more around the displacement of that as opposed to like just raw damage. I don't believe in just putting damage on abilities that where the kit isn't designed around dealing damage.
So with all of this mobility that Axel is bringing to the game, I know that you've actually been vocal before about mobility creep potentially being something to keep an eye on in Apex Legends, especially with the Pathfinders, the Octanes, and the ongoing conversation that's brought. What's Axel's relationship to that, and how have other things in this patch been designed to keep mobility creep in check?
Yeah, so obviously, I guess the biggest thing in this patch is the removal of something like, a lot of the rotational map toys like zip rails, connecting POIs on Broken Moon, and removal of tridents. Tridents, as given the recent rework and stuff, it's something that we have been working through and trying out different angles on of kind of where we want tridents to live, what we want them to be. And if we feel that something's not working, we'll take it out and we'll go back to the lab. This comes at a time when we're adding a legend that creates movement. I think, it's an intentional effort to see or push the limits of how we can use the legend space to help when you're sort of building out a comp for rotations.
We've got Season 29 up now. Of course, players are going to be free to experiment with that and hopefully, not for you, but for me, break the game in a few new ways that you then have to fix. However, I know that you're looking ahead at Season 29 as well, where we've got the, Recon, Looting, and World's Edge coming up. I'm really curious about the Recon class, especially with the fact that you touched up Bloodhound off this last Season 28, and then looking forward to 30, you're looking at Recon as well. What are some of the issues that you're aiming to solve there? I don't know how much you can share, but I'd love to get an idea of what we can look forward to even further in the game's future.
Yeah, can't speak too much. I will say, we have changes coming there. We have changes coming to World's Edge, as you mentioned. I think, World's Edge is fresh for a different look, or a pass. I think, a lot of early, devout players have, they're happy when it kind of cycles out of rotation. I think this what we're cooking up is we'll pull you back in there.
Are you adding zip lines and tridents only to World's Edge?
Yes, there will be 60 tridents on World's Edge, one for each player.
Good.
And then looting is something we always revisit the loot economy. We are a battle royale. Loot is at the core. We want to make sure it's not only healthy but interesting. How can we refresh parts of this? So that's a question that the team has been looking at closely. So more to come.
I've been a big fan of, ever since the introduction of weapon arsenals, sort of the other tools that we have in looting to mitigate some of the RNG. So very excited for that, of course, and excited for the season that we're dropping into now, Season 29. Real quick before I let you go, give me one tip for Axel that our pros, that our casuals, whatever it may be, should be thinking about when they lock in this legend.
If you're sprinting or even standing still for too long, you're doing something wrong. Take advantage of that slide boost. Take advantage of that slide. yeah, I personally just kind of get into this flow state where the map starts to feel like a racetrack, and take advantage of that. Use that slide.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Again, everybody go check out Season 29 Overclocked that we've got coming up very, very soon. John, thank you so much for joining me. And, well, I guess I play on European servers, so I won't be running into you, but from what I hear, that's probably better for me. Back to the broadcast.
Removal of tridents, that's gonna be crazy. If you want to see how that feels, make sure you check it all out when Season 29 drops in 2 days on May 5th. Now let's get back into the matches. Vicky, Gino, take it away.
Thank you so much, Glitter. Guys, there is so much to look forward to for the next season, Genome. I cannot wait to see all the crazy movement tech and highlights from our players back at home, testing out the new Legend Axel. And even with what Jumba mentioned, Genome, how maybe Axel could influence what the ALGS comps have been looking like too.
Yeah, I mean, we theory-crafted a little bit before about, maybe she can get thrown into some edge comps. I'd love to see that. It would be very interesting. I mean, big shout out to J Beebs. That guy's such a boss. I mean, as far as the devs go, I think he's one of the most interested in ALGS, and it's really cool to hear his opinion and how he kind of keeps that stuff in mind. As he's literally designing the legends for the game. So yeah, look, thanks to him for doing that interview and sharing all of that with us as we move on to E-District here. This is our POI draft for the second half of our Americas series today.
And it's important to highlight that the dinos are not extinct. If anything, they've woken up and they are here to terrorize the rest of this lobby. And I think it's also interesting to see how Watson was banned in our previous game, because we just saw the most Watson in that lobby, but it was by a single pick. Genome Ultra was right behind the Watson, and that kind of goes hand in hand with these teams maybe trying to influence these legend picks, because now we get to go into E-District and there is no more Watson, no more Crypto after our first game, no more Newcastle, and that means lots of Alter TPs all around and about, and we get to take a look at our teams and where they're going to be landing here on E-District.
Yeah, of course, it also means lots of Caustic. Also a good smattering of Catalyst as well. The teams are pretty split on the moment, whether they sort of prefer the offensive / defensive capabilities of Caustic, or they really want that endgame separation that Catalyst tends to afford you. Here's a little breakout of where all the teams are standing at the moment. DINOS, 53 points after our first map is an incredible start from them. And they've definitely gone for the Stinky Boy. As you can see, all of the different teams pretty much going for Alter. She's sitting at, oh God, what is it for this match? Up at 90% pick rate.
Oof, that means hasta la vista to Alter. And I think it's been a really interesting talking point, just looking at dinos and looking at where the zone is pulling, by the way. Oh, this is going to be insane, actually. We've seen zones like this before, Genome, and in a zone where it's pulling kind of on the outskirts of Energy Bank, good luck. A lot of teams are already quick on their rotate. I personally love rotating out of Draft Point. You'll have a Ring Console, Survey Beacon, Evil Harvesters on your rotate here, so HBM will be able to at least walk away with that, while Unreal Nightmare over on the north side where they land in their POI also have that set of information. And with a lot of these other squads, I had to mention Dinos because on E-District, the last time these two groups faced off against each other, Dinos were doing pretty well on E-District, and after their performance on Storm Point, let's keep this ball rolling. I think it was like game number 1 on E-District where they got like second place and like 15 KP. So they've been having a lot of fun where they've been able to ramp up a lot already on their rotate, looking at Men of Culture right behind them.
Damn, all right. Vicky's rubbing the crystal ball and finding even more points in Dino's future, not the meteor, as some have predicted. And here we can see them just chilling down by the south. Do they have that ring info? It kind of doesn't. I'm looking at the mini map. I don't think they do. Otherwise, we'd be able to see the green circle on their map. So they might be looking to perhaps hit the ring console that's in Energy Bank, or perhaps they've just seen enough people fly in that they're happy to sort of trust their comrades and say, look, we'll just set up down here.
Yeah, right, because they came out of the north side of Humbert Labs, too. So knowing that Rock Esports like to land in Old Town, trying to prio and get into the zone deeper before Rock could trail right behind him. Smart move here, but the action has not stopped within Americas. It's the back-to-back while Hawades is popping off here in the feed, getting a knock himself. Team Burger still stuck on white here in terms of their Evo Shield, and a much rather slower day. Maybe the buns have been soggy here for Team Burger, not something that they want to feast on. And with all the altars too, MT is just trying to make a play on trying to prio their rotate.
I was kind of hungry until you said that. It's just disappeared in a second. Soggy buns. Oh, no, thank you. Sometimes what? You eat soggy buns?
No. Sometimes you gotta make do with what you got. And if you're hungry, Genome, you don't complain. And listen, in this term, Vattery being the last one alive, I'm sure the fact that they're still alive in this tournament means that they're not gonna complain. But for how long? Because I did see that Seer queue, and they know that there is somebody there. And with them running around with just one pair of footsteps, they could note that it is a rat. There's also usually a survey beacon in the middle of Energy. Yeah, you can see the triple take shots. They actually hit Vattery's back. Hopefully, he gets his teammates back up again. There was that respawn beacon on the other side, on the north side of where he's going, but he needs the replicator, so that's where he's on his way. But so many other teams have made their rotate into where this northern zone pool is for Energy.
Yeah, does it pull all the way back into Energy? I kind of expecting it to do that, to be honest, Vicky. I don't think there's enough of City Hall in for it really to pull over there. I feel like there's maybe a small chance that it goes up towards Canal, where we had Unreal Nightmare landing. Shopify Rebellion, they're over towards the west, actually. Question for them is, do they just keep going until they hit another 2-3 Evo Harvesters and get all the way to purples before they even think about getting in towards the ring? Because at this point, you would imagine there's quite a few spots being occupied by the rest of the lobby. As you said, lots of people are piled in already.
Yeah, and I call it the don't pull up zone. I feel like that's kind of what I refer to whenever it comes to a lot of these more congested rotation spots. And considering where this ring is pulling, and I could definitely see it going towards that Canal zone. Crazy Thieves, I feel like it's between Crazy Thieves and what we've heard from Falcons with the unfortunate dead slide that we had from Hal in our previous game could put a stunt to any sort of momentum rolling. But now that we've transitioned onto E District, this is where you can start kicking things off. Crazy Thieves kind of taking a very similar stance in how I was listening to those comms and listening to Phony try to IGL here, and they're neighboring that together with DINOS and Falcons. Rock are also trying to get the ring console info north of Falcons, so a lot of these teams could prevent other squads from trying to get either the survey beacon on one side of the middle part of Energy Bank and then the other side where Falcons is positioned with that ring console.
Okay, see if that true. We've got the next ring popping in just a second, and it goes south. Look at that, a little bit of a pinball down there towards Team Falcons. They are, I think, the closest team to that ring console right now. They've got the altar presumably already up to blue and ready to use that, but I don't know if they're actually in position to try it.
That's the issue here with so many other teams. Look at the altar portals, like littered all around the map. It's looking like a mess out here, but this is what happens when you get altar into E District. And again, the legend comps being influenced by some of these teams that want to play into their strength. It looks like Legacy may have been able to get a res. I did see the altar get knocked originally there as Revival now. January looking at Sang, who does take that portal out, but I'm surprised January's still alive right there. That could have been a one clip. He sends out the Wrecking Ball. Madness covering the left side here, backing away. Gonna get stunned temporarily, but they did get that knock onto Cody, and they want to capitalize.
I mean, this is the perfect spot to rat a team, so I wonder if that was yet again Madness's plan. If there's one team, one man that loves to do it and pulls it off every single time, it seems to be him. He's scanning below them. Zestfest is now coming in to complete the sandwich from Lotus, and this stairwell, I think, is going to be Nice Guy's tomb.
They're just trying to stay alive. They're playing off the knockdown shield. They're trying to slide down too, so they aren't the meat of the sandwich. And Nice Guys, they do get eliminated here in the feed, and as well as Revival with Madness being able to get that reset great and clean here to prevent them from getting the Alter TP out and getting a full reset, and then the 3P on top. Now Big Louie, these are literally one shots. He's looking to reset. You mentioned the caustics and what the caustics could do now that you're going to see a lot more of them in these buildings of E District.
JDG haven't had the most impressive day so far. Only 19 points for them at the moment. And, oh, man, I was really hoping to see some floating highlights because, you know, he's just been so good this split so far. And, you know, it would just be great to see the pop-off moments, right? But unfortunately, it's been a little bit lackluster.
That's what happens too, is that a lot of these teams feel the extra pressure of seeing so many alters, Genome, and they're trying to get the finishing blow on a knocked player as quickly as possible to prevent exactly what we just saw from Big Louie, who gets TP'd back in, gets rezzed, and now looking on the other side for the teams that may not have that comp in their hands, how difficult it is for them to reset. Nano now gets back together with the rest of the team, gets the loot that they need, and we'll start moving into that next zone where this zone is actually going to be pulling a little bit more towards that south side. We've also seen it pull towards the bridge that's on the outskirts of Energy Bank too.
Both very viable options. And yeah, no teams really seem to have access to that. That's it. Actually, no, Zestfest. They are sitting on the ring console in Canal, so they will get this information. But sadly, they'll be the furthest away and will struggle to use it. DINOS go down. Luckily, they've you know, carved out a healthy lead for themselves, and this shouldn't be cause for concern right now.
Yeah, right? Like, they were leading the pack with 54 points, but we know how quickly, especially in Americas with how volatile this region is, how quickly teams like Legacy, or currently in second place with 43 points, could close in that gap. And they are playing with confidence. Jaguares trying to wrap up to the left side, avoids a grenade toss here, but they were not expecting a player to look at them down in the alleyway. Now he's dancing around the portal, trying to pop a shield back. Yanya's trying to cover their back. They know they had the Evo Shield advantage, but against a Catalyst, the slowdown, the drill, it's so much pressure. He did not mean to go for that res. That is quite unfortunate. He was actually trying to look back at the altar portal so that way he could take it, try to recall their teammates, and there's that desperate measure into trying to get the finishing blow.
Yeah, they recall. It's into the zone, actually, or very close to it. And as Zestfest come through, unfortunately, Revival don't really have time to fully heal up after the fight. And it's just a one member now to get away.
Rat galore here. Someone call the Exterminator. You burst down. Those spikes to the floor. Slopes now is going to get the next one just so that way they can try to close in the gap. They don't want any sort of resets. They know so many alters are just TPing their teammates back to them. You mentioned Legacy, but you know what's crazy and thinking 5 steps ahead from Legacy is even if it's inside the zone, it was enough to get to the replicator in City Hall. The zone did not break the alter TP just yet as it was closing in, and they get the res on that mobile beacon in the south side of City Hall. So they can equally just wrap back up around and contest the team that try to gatekeep them, and that could be Buckle Boys on the south side of the zone.
Yeah, I mean, they could go for Buckle Boys. There's actually several other openings that they can get through into Energy Bank. So, I don't know, maybe don't take the hard way through and just try and make it into zone, but we'll see. Maybe Yanyu just needs another 10 kills this game. I wouldn't deny him for that, frankly. Let's have a look and see which one of those two options Legacy is going to opt for.
Nosotros aquí tenemos zona.
Están peleando el lado izquierdo, ¿no? También.
Maybe. Tienen azules. Hice mierda al caustic.
Nos quedamos también. No tengo. Tengo 3.
Te tiro una vez. Yo tengo infinitas. Les puedo pasar ahorita. Se ocupan. ¡Ney! Cuidado.
¿Cómo vas?
Voy a ver la info a la izquierda, Síganos, coleando. Está todo libre acá. Todo esto de arriba.
Creo que estaban peleando a la izquierda.
Lo agarraremos, ¿no? Sí, ven. Agarra la Q.
Sí,
vamos todo este lado. Trampiense todo esto de aquí y nomás hay que ver nuestra espalda.
De la casa, ¿no? Voy contigo.
No sé.
Está en la izquierda.
Literalmente nosotros tenemos el highway aquí. Nomás ponte todas las trampas mirando hacia la casita.
No, güey, maybe vienen con nosotros, los de atrás, güey.
Sí, tienes que poner las trampitas por aquí, güey. Todas tus trampas.
Voy a poner full trampas todo esto, sí.
Ok. Yo les puedo curar el escudo también, tengo bats infinitas, güey. Un batido viento a la izquierda hacia aquí.
Hay otro team ahí. Es otro team.
Ok. Se vaquean. Nosotros tenemos el espacio, güey. Literalmente nosotros lo único que tenemos... Güey, un team...
I love what we're hearing from Legacy. They're even thinking where they're going to put the caustic gas traps behind them on the wall where they just ultra TP through to get to the spot that they're in, prevent that, and give them information for the team that was right behind them originally. Buckle Boys now, a team that, you know, Gino, you were talking about being able to gatekeep the squads that want to rotate from the east, or rather the west side of this zone, have now been able to clear out from that team and now flat get eliminated at the hands of Shopify Rebellion.
One more added to the list. Shopify move above 30, the third team to do so. Of course, that puts them into third place. We were talking about it. They've hit their stride, and it looks like E-District might just be a place where they can capitalize on that. I shouldn't speak too soon. It's not like they're in God's spot right now. Like, I'm just going to shut up before I curse them.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. That's why we make jokes about it. And now Koi is hungry, and so is Ainu. The follow-up is there. They find Jay. Shopify are feeling that momentum, and on the other side, on the outskirts of zone, because neither of these teams are in the zone just yet, is Legacy v Shopify. The zone's closing in right behind their backs. They've noted that Vocal Boys is still trying to run away, at the very least as a solo to the right side. They don't want to get overzealous, though, because there's so many other teams that are waiting for them here coming out of Energy Bank.
Yep, smart micro rotations using the Void Passage here from Alta. Zainu just gets them one step after one step, and now they are inside the zone. It's not the greatest spot, but they will have to try and put some pressure on. Of course, they've got Koifel on their side, so that's not hard to do. He is, of course, the damage leader for this series right now.
There's a reason. Oh, Skynade! Oh, no! Perfections living up to the name on those angles here. Geometry coming in clutch. Forces Crypt to get knocked. Pluto now looking down the other side of a cat wall. It's going to be Falcons who have to desperately make their move because they're about to get pinched. Rocker waiting for them on the outskirts of this zone. Buckle Boys eventually get eliminated as it was that solo, but Guild with the Wrecking Ball does get that knock too onto Saucer. While Rock and Falcons are fighting here, they could get 3P by Purple Slushies. They have to get the shield swap, and they still lost out on Guild as Walty gets the next one.
Yeah, Purple Slushy have taken a little bit of time here, though. I think it'll still be quick enough that, I mean, you know, they've got, what, like a 200 HP advantage right now over Falcons. Can they overcome that? Seems pretty unlikely. Purple Slushy, they take their time, but they do manage to take down the Falcons.
With the altar portal that was right there too while they were hugging the side of the wall was insane, but guess what? Getting a taste of their own medicine as now the 4P has come in, and Crazy Thieves, before they can get the reset here from Deeds, he's the last one to go out for Purple Slushy.
Oh, look at that treasure trove the Crazy Thieves have just picked up. Phony was licking his lips looking at all those boxes over there, but it's not just the loot, Vicky. They have also grabbed the most important spot in the final zone.
Oh my goodness, and he's got the infinite ammo, by the way. Okay, Jelly, seeing you with the Kraber. Infinite ammo on the Kraber as Huss. A slower day, but maybe this is what they needed. E-District and a Kraber in hand as he finds the next shot. Red Jelly's literally kill leader, 4 KP, looking behind him. Can we get another one? Now misses out as that player just jumps up into the air, but they're feeling themselves here. Shopify now look back. Legacy eventually get eliminated. This is what you can expect in a zone like this, and Huss being on that northern side here, looking at Shopify. Gamblers also uncontested as they move in to wrap up behind Crazy Thieves as Unreal Nightmare get eliminated.
Yeah, gosh, I really hope that CRT are watching that side, because Gamblers are slipping up behind them here. All right, Jelly, as you mentioned, he's got the Kraber infinite ammo combo. It's a little too close range to be using that right now, but it doesn't matter because he's hitting all of the wingman shots.
And the follow from Kinchi to set up a thermite right before they were able to hide behind the wall when that last wingman shot also hit that second player. Man, a lot to break down from these fights. Crazy Thieves now still inside the middle part of Energy Bank are dancing around these portals. Gamblers now want to wrap up fully behind Huss because those are the only two teams on the north side of zone, while nobody's going to be bothering Crazy Thieves here.
Gamblers did not take that opening to go up against Crazy Thieves. They went very far the other way, looking to, you know, potentially just steal a couple of kills away from Huss. But as I said, that fight that they won against Purple Slushy is probably the most important thing that they will do this game. Now that they're looking down on the other two, it's not just that, Vicky. The zone ends like right on their station. The other teams will have to climb up, I believe. So it's not like they even can wait them out. They can't wait for Crazy Thieves to jump down or something like that. It's just going to be incredibly hard for them to do anything, especially when Phony's also got an infinite ammo Kraber.
Okay, and the fact that Phony 2 is on the altar, the 150 is going to force that player to back away. Could that have been the player there with the Kraber in hand? Now, as Phony sends out the altar reset portal off the ultimate, more teams move up. Huss playing off the low ground, hugging the side of the wall where they only have to really focus down on Gamblers. Kraber shot after Kraber shot. Jelly is not only the kill leader with 7 KP, but look at his damage. Almost a 3K right here. He gets the automatic reload on here on the Kraber. Can we get another one? Oh, shooting wide. It's okay here. He's still putting on the pressure genome, and look at the amount of caustic barrels too that's up on the high ground, waiting for anybody who wants to move up on an altar portal here. Now they're gonna have this 3v3 fight here. They find the follow-up on the Nox, and you know Crazy Thieves want in on the action with one down from Huss, and this is all for Crazy Thieves to feast on, even trying to end it with a quick little Kraber shot on the trick shot. But Crazy Thieves, we were talking about finding that momentum, finding that confidence, and they do so for match number 4.
A very important win there. Even at the start of that game, I was just looking at their scoreline saying, oh, this could be leading towards an ugly series for Crazy Thieves, especially when they've only just got their mojo back and, you know, one of their best players back on the team. That said, it was a pretty easy cleanup there from the win. Once they had the high ground, you know, just like Obi-Wan, it was over at that point.
Yeah, and that's them coming out of Viaduct, which, you know, when it comes to Viaduct, I really like that rotation too. You usually have a survey beacon, and you could take a quick rotate out, and that was their prio, right? We saw so many teams congregate in Energy Bank early on, but it's also important to highlight how Huss, being their POI of Energy Bank, got a lot of KP to their name, and they needed it too, right? With 12 KP after that game alone, Crazy Thieves, though, take the dub and the better positioning, and they needed to take that win here to boost up that momentum on E-District.
17 points, not too bad, but 21 is even better as far as Huss goes. Also, like, you know, don't be telling me that controllers are SMG crutches. Jelly was going nuts there with that Wingman Kraber combo.
Listen, from a certain distance, it comes out in clutch here as we bring back Glitter, but Crazy Thieves with a 5 KP, they did a good chunk of damage themselves. It was like what, 3.2k damage in total? So Huss, Gamblers right behind them with Gamblers in another top 3 finish, Glitter.
Yeah, and I feel like we see this happen a lot as we get towards the later half of all of our splits, because a lot of the teams that have stepped up to the plate today are teams that need to have strong finishes, whether that's to stay out of relegation or to get closer to the bubble. We're watching these teams that are fighting even harder for their spot in the overalls. We get to see what that means now for the series results. DINOS still on top with 54 points, but a huge jump up the leaderboard for Crazy Thieves after the win. Now in a top 5 position. I mean, that's going to be much more comfortable for them. 8 spots from Huss off of a very slay-heavy match. So, Genome, outside of literally like Dinos and Legacy, everything gets so close from there.
It is. It's quite bunched up, and, you know, that's pretty weird when you've got teams like Team Burger in 18, Team Falcons in 12th as well. I mean, the fact that Crazy Thieves only have 8 KP, but they're in 5th is also a weird sight.
It's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. And we're going to take a look at the kill leaderboard as well and see what this means for the kill leaderboard, because J Future and Zynu are tied at the top, Vicky, with 12 apiece. And in the best way possible, I don't think that this is what we would have initially predicted for individuals at the top.
Definitely not. And of course, with DINOS falling a bit earlier in that last game, I think it's a big highlight on how these overall standings are going to completely shake up after we're done and see how these teams are looking. But Jay Future with 12 KP, you got to keep that going. Don't let this last game kind of stunt you. But it's also Zainu, too, popping off. And then Yanya, by the way, was not even in that first game. And he is in 4th place in terms of the kill leaderboard with 11. That's insane.
It's crazy. I love that's what we're getting out of Yanya specifically, because, you know, we also talked about at the top of the show the fact that this is going to be a different roster after literally today. After 2 more matches, Genome, we're going to have a different version, and they won't be called Legacy anymore. We'll be starting to call them AGG. So is this, you know, sending them in the right direction? Is this the momentum they need heading into changing their roster up mid-season?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it?
Tough, right?
Let's get rid of 1/3 of what's working really well for us this week and see what happens. Yeah, good question. My point is, you know, why didn't Strider get the 10 kills? Remember when JMO had to sub in and they ended up like did they win that day or get like a top 3 or something? Personally, I think Striders should be going for the all-time coach record.
Yeah, honestly, I think I agree with that. We're going to keep looking at some of these teams, though, because we also saw Zainu up there on our kill leaderboard. Koi was up there as well, just a little bit farther down. But they have continued to look like maybe this is that turnaround. They're looking really strong, really consistent. Now they're in top 4 for match 4, top 3 for match 3. Vicky, have we found the old Shopify?
It looks like we have, Glitter, because maybe Black Friday came early for this team, because this is a team that went up like 10 points after their performance just last week. They're replicating what worked last week into today, and I really want to figure out, like, you know, is this just a different mindset? Are they playing a lot of a different style, a lot more aggressively into what we wanted to see 2 weeks before that into Shopify? Like, we know that this is a team of heavy fraggers. Play into that here if that is how you find your points.
100%, 100%. Well, we get to see which of these teams, if any of them, are going to continue with these performances as we head into match number 5. We're going to say goodbye to Genome for now, while Vicky and I get ready to dive into it. You guys pointed it out at the beginning of the last match, obviously, but Alter, she made it into one E-District match, which was really fun, but she did not survive past there.
Yeah, that's wild, actually. And it was by a single pick, by the way, like from the previous game. That's why we saw Watson banned. Like, Watson was the most picked legend by one team. And then now Alter is hasta la vista as we go into game number 5, Glitter. And you know how chaotic these game 5s are. That's why it's one of my favorite games personally, because this is the time where a lot of these teams that are fragging out are gonna keep going into this game, and then they could play like they got nothing to lose, right? And then you look at the later half of the teams that feel that pressure and start playing not like themselves. So that's going to be interesting to see as this game 5 progresses.
The desperation. You're saying you like the chaos that the desperation can cause for our teams.
Yes, 100%, because that's when we get to see the pressure really light a fire under the butts of our players here. Let's not forget, right now, DINOS leads the way, but not by too much, with Legacy right behind them.
You know, and that's truly just a result of the fact that they had one bad match in match 4, and it opens up the doors for some of these teams to catch up a little bit, because outside of that, they've had such a good performance for themselves. So I think that there's an opportunity, if they've yo-yoed a little bit, for them to bounce back in this next match. Maybe this will be yet another strong performance, but we are going to be starting things off with Legacy because there's just so many teams that have done well today that it's hard to pick one to just focus on.
We've been seeing, like, the R9, of course, right? It's like the pride and true, back at home, I'm feeling safe R9 in the hands of our pro players. Like, we saw this similarly in EMEA, like, just leading the kills that we've been seeing, and going hand in hand with the amount of wingman clips that we've also had within this region has been chef's kiss. And that is wild, actually. Pulling similarly towards a zone that we had just in our last game, but I think this is going to pull a little bit more north here. But, you know, that's just going to benefit the likes of Huss, where they started out incredibly slow on Storm Point, and they could thank the RNG ring pull gods that Apex Legends is in their favor for today on E-District, because not only do they have an Evo Harvester, they have the ring console, so they have that info, the survey beacon, to get some more of those Evo charge perks, and then you get to move into that next zone.
I mean, not only that, but Shopify is also going to be pretty comfortable. They'll have barely any rotation to make. They'll be able to quickly loot up. They also have a survey beacon over there, and they're going to be heading out of resort and probably being able to find a place to hold pretty easily. I mean, this is a potential match, Vicky, that could shake up that like top 5 area of our leaderboard if any of those teams in solid spots are able to do well.
It blows my mind too, like with a ring pull like that, Falcons struggling in finding some of these rotates and catching themselves pinched here. I mean, it's insane to think that they've only had 9 kills throughout the course of today, but you know, somebody that can't say that is going to be Rock as they try to fully extend here after getting that knock originally. But having to be careful, there's still a player right on top of Vax's head. He gets the hip fire shots on the flat line. Saucer gets a finishing blow here too onto Chaos, leaving 1 player left of the opposing team.
I think it's DINOS right now, and I feel like
They're running for their lives.
am a caster curse. I don't know what happened there. They got caught out really.
Like sharks.
Rock decided to go for the chase here. Oh boy, and DINOS are fully eliminated. First team out, and so early on, Vicky. I take back what I said.
You don't even need a Valkyrie. All you need is an evac tower, and no drive-by from the Valkyries as Valkyries banned here. And instead, Rock are hungry, and they clean up that last player. But you know, sometimes you feel yourself, even if you're out in the lobby, that's not what you want to be in terms of DINOS, but JD didn't go out without a fight, so he still at least got that knock on the player, a little bit of an ego chow, and now with some easy pickings, they'll be able to move on with Rock getting that KP. You see Deeds actually over on the very top getting that survey beacon scan, so this is indicated here for Deeds and company over by Electro Dam from Purple Slushy that Legacy are in that house to their south.
Legacy here, deciding if this is something that they want to keep looking for, or if it's just a little bit too much distance to really continue pushing. Oh, HBM was trying to go for a bit of a res, and they get caught out. Advent clears out HBM, and we are dropping early right now in match number 5 for some of these teams.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to these game 5, some teams know like they could just get away with griefing other squads, and it's unfortunate here when you're DINOS and you want to be able to keep up this aggression and the lead that you've built in so early on Storm Point. And then they had a great day on E-District. That's how they started their great run in the same type of groups just a few weeks ago, except now E-District is just not working out for them in their favor. It's been a lot of aggression from some of these teams neighboring them, and they won't have the opportunity to keep building up that gap with Legacy still alive.
We've got Men of Culture now underneath GK Esports, looking to see if they can maybe hit any lucky shots here, but both these teams essentially stacked right on top of each other, so little bit of a standstill here unless somebody tries to do something crazy. But there's so many squads in the vicinity that would not be smart.
No, and I think it's important to also mention, Glitter, while we were just taking a look at all of the altars that we had previously, Mad Maggie is the most picked legend in this game. So Mad Maggie is hasta la vista for game number 6, which means, hello, Gibby. We'll see you very soon. But with the way that these circle pulls are going, it's going to benefit a lot of these teams that are forced to rotate from a very far POI.
That'll make the last game perfectly chaotic to close out the series until we head into our mid-season break. Zainu taking a little bit of damage there. Across the way from Flat, as Flat looks to move in and see if they can maybe continue to force this fight, as Shopify don't want to take it. Shopify does leave. They also put down that balloon, so it looks like Flat is heading off in the opposite direction as Flat decide that, you know, it was potentially worth it, but clearly none of these teams out on the outskirts want to force anything after watching 2 squads go out as early as they did.
You know, with 18 squads now left and Ring 1 finally closing in behind their backs, Shopify have free reign over side questing here in Neon Square, where they have their Survey Beacon Ring console, and here we go. Yanya looking to try to take a fight. It looks like 2 with Crazy Thieves also stuck inside this building, but all the caustic traps here are stopping them, forcing Phony to back away. Oh no! There was a team waiting for them on the other side of the portal.
What just happened? There were teams everywhere. Why? Oh, I wish I saw how they even got into that and placed that portal to begin with. Verhulst, though, does manage to escape and will be able to heal up. Now it's going to be a question of whether or not he can bring the rest of the team back to life, as well as we see a res come through for Unreal Nightmare. That was definitely a rough moment for Crazy Thieves. But we've seen Verhulst save crazier things, so could be another opportunity for them as we get to see the rest of the squads that haven't made their way into the next circle yet, as things start to get very congested on the northern side.
Listen, a Caustic and a Dream sometimes is all you need, and if Verhulst could do it, he can, but he's one of those big boys, and it's going to be hard because look at the pile-up that we have on the north side of a zone like this, and with Rock getting that information from the Survey Beacon, they'll be able to plan ahead into rotating probably from Galleria, but nowhere is safe. And if you saw Phony's face right there, I know it looked like his head was looking backwards. He literally got slept as if he got whiplash from the amount of teams in this area. Revival, with Madness still alive on this here, is trying to see if he can pull up this res. Also getting information on where everybody's situated because he already used up the exhibit on the ultimate to find that info. And are you kidding me? And then when I get a wrecking ball in my face, it hones in on me like it's got a heat-seeking missile. But it's okay here. January holding on to his here, looking up ahead. They have the speed boost pads too at their feet, but it was really, at least it broke the glass, but it's not like they were able to push in on that.
Vicky, I feel like they heard you when you were like, oh yeah, match 5s are always crazy, super chaotic, because that's exactly what we're getting right now. I mean, I was not prepared for this. Madness is knocked. Another wrecking ball comes out as January tries to salvage whatever he can in this situation, gets him down to 1. Mello able to clean up and out of it. You see Yanya, Legacy's getting involved in this back and forth as well because they are also in the area. This could be another reset for Revival as Legacy start to look to move in.
Juarez, though, was able to at least get the finishing blow on that play. Oh, the swing! Floating, didn't even get a chance to look to his right before he lost out on all his health, leaving him 1 shot. Juarez still keeping up the R9 stats on the board. Well, Gilzy is going to be able to reset here. He's just going to be able to pop these shield cells because he's got so much, but also having only 1 shield bat too. So he's going to be able to heal that over time. Also thanks to the amp. But now Rock are looking on to a fight that's been happening for quite some time. And while this is going to be between Rock and Shopify over an energy bank, there's another fight happening to their north side. So looking for the reset on the shield bats.
The amount of time they take to decide how they want to handle this engagement could determine a lot. Like you said, there's teams in the vicinity. They don't want to open up an opportunity for any of them to third party this fight. So Rock does back off, give themselves a moment to heal fully and reset. Shopify uses the time to do the same while Gamblers are getting a respawn up there at the top of your screen. And I'm still seeing Madness in January getting knocked again. How many times can Revival get back up and then get knocked down again, Vicky?
That timer is going to start dwindling down here. Legacy finally making their move. They have the Wraith portal and they're looking to fully commit. They're just going to be able to try to get here onto this floor. Yeah, there's not going to be any kidnaps here, but it's about scouting up ahead with your Wraith, just so that way they know if that floor is clear, if maybe they could time a 3P here, but with Revival getting eliminated a little too late here for them and having to be careful through the windows because this team is fully reset in front of them.
All right, Legacy take a little bit of damage after they've backed off. Verhulst is still alive, Vicky!
Nothing to see. Huntsman's on the hunt. Like, he thinks something is very suspicious on this side, and it's probably because they just heard Verhulst heal up. And having to be careful. It's like, Aliop, you did not see what you saw. Legacy being to their left may actually be a saving grace. It's because Verhulst knows they saw him, but I don't expect this team to try to drop down and give up this hype because Legacy's right there, and that would just be free for Legacy to clean up that KP and the end for that team just to chase a rat.
It's just going to be tough for Verhoes to even just escape all of the clustering of the squads, and we're back on with Legacy, that team that was kind of the reason that Verhoes was not getting chased in that moment. Getting to see where they've managed to reposition themselves. They are actually in a really good spot right now because they're essentially one of the very few chokes, one of the fastest, easiest, most accessible chokes for any of those teams on the northern side of the circle to move their way through to the next ring. So if they set up shop here and make this impossible for teams to push through, they completely mess up a lot of these squads' rotations.
And looking at the action non-stop, it's going to be Hambino as the next victim on the other side of a triple take. Uzme wants to try to get the finishing knock and the alley-oop through the cracks of the knockdown shield here as they're going to be able to queue away. Right on time as the Wrecking Ball comes crashing down. Buckles on the inside of the bus. They're trying to wrap up on Cody, who's running for their life, but there's nothing you could really do. If you're Cody in this case, he gets taken out. Hopefully that one rat manages to try to get a reset here. 17 squads still left though, Glitter. It's slowed down just a bit as the zone closes in, but we're going to see a lot more teams drop with a lot of these squads trying to gatekeep.
Ooh. This is where things get a little bit tough here for Buckle Boys. Can Cruel Buckle close that one out? No, they are gate kept right on the edge of the zone. JD Gaming coming through, picking up some KP, and also trying to own that little bit of space. Nice Guys is in the vicinity looking for it. Meanwhile, we've got Rock and Shopify still in this standoff down on the southern side. No one has caved or given up any sort of real estate.
That's a solo of Nice Guys that we just saw earlier on. The Wraith that is on Nice Guys, just trying to stay alive over by this choke. Team Burger wanted to scout ahead to see if maybe they could steal some KP, but eventually they're gonna have to start moving in, and Rock and Shopify find themselves in another duel coming out of Energy Bank. I feel like this has been a very slow fight where Rock wanted to come in at the right time after they took their time to rotate into that next zone, wrapping from the east side of the map, and Shopify playing off to the left side. They have one of the seers of their own, and they've already used up that ultimate. It's information galore as they dance around the nades.
Oh, and this is going to be scary because once again, this is going on. It's dragging on for a lot of time. Shopify is trying to heal up, and you now have more teams sniffing around, trying to look if this is an opportunity. Flat is starting to move in, and they've been playing pretty aggressively today. I would be afraid of people coming in from the backside if I were Shopify.
I'm surprised there was nobody on the roof. Instead, there's somebody on the ground because I saw GK there very early on, and it's Legacy who are staring them down. They're there poking their heads from the rooftop while Falcons are hiding on the bottom side of that bridge area that could lead you to the jump pad that takes you to the roof of the streamer building, as I like to call it here, the don't pull up side of Energy Bank. And Shopify are just trying to stay alive. Look at this. And then Naughty gets a knock, by the way, with a Kraber in his hands. Shopify are just playing for dear life. On one side of them, then you have another team on the backside. It's gonna be Flat wrapping right behind Shopify Rebellion.
And I knew Flat was going to look to try to make this push in. Zainu is down. That leaves Shopify as a duo. Things are going to be really tough for them here out in the open. You can see Flat slowly moving in. Koifel trying to keep the team alive. It's going to be a tough spot. They have no cover. There's no bubbles here. Do they have the wall available? Are they even able to put it down? As soon as they do, Rock knows what's happening. They also see Flat across the way. And Rock giving damage to Flat is actually giving precious seconds to Shopify. Unfortunately, it is just not enough. They are eliminated. That space is cleared out. Flat backs off, and we get a rat cam. He was almost able to land somewhere safe, but unfortunately, Crazy Thieves also go out.
Fly me to the moon. At least not for the Caustic here, because he's flying back to the lobby. That's unfortunate, but it was a good attempt from Verhoes, and at least he got some sort of survivability points here in terms of placement. 12 squads now left. Nano slow healing because he's got no bats. He's got no shield cells, actually. They have to take this fight. They need meds here. Looking at Rock, though, you do not want to be met. On the other side of a Wrecking Ball, looks like it's a strike, as now only Qzier is alive on the Wraith.
Oh, that was tough timing there coming through that portal. Definitely not what Flat wanted. Huss down there guarding the knocked player for Flat, so won't be able to get them back up. And Rock are just waiting in the distance for this to end and continue making their way in on that southern side. Flat fully eliminated. The rat not able to survive. And now Rock Esports own the whole southern half. Meanwhile, Team Burger in the center of this zone, finding themselves in a little bit of a firefight.
This is so chaotic. The fact that it's pooling directly right here where everybody likes to land when they're playing within their own E-District games. They have the Moby. MT trying to clutch this out. He's got, you know, some meds here too. Big meds as well. And now looking right behind him. Got to make sure that they can pull this off. I see another player coming in of Eki as well. A nade coming in from the top. And they pull it off. They respawn Slayers and Gamblers are gambling their time that they have with round 5 closing in right behind them. They got to inch closer into the next zone.
I think Gamblers are going back and forth with Men of Culture, but Men of Culture are going back and forth between them and where Team Burger is. Huss is eliminated in the kill feed while all of this is happening. And there is just no safe space for these teams that tried to get closer to where the final circle is going to be right now. Rock is down to a duo, and they're trying to get some extra KP on the board. They're getting pushed as well. It's all down to Circe, who's able to clean a little bit up here, use that knockdown shield to potentially get these heals off.
Wait, did those get stolen here from the other side? That is so unfortunate with so many teams within the vicinity, but he picks that one up at the very least until they're met back in the lobby, because Yanya prowling about like a shark, hungry with blood in the water here, with Falcons playing off that low ground that I had mentioned, because GK have been here for a very long time. I mean, so long that there is not even any heavy ammo in Drop's hands for the Hemlock, so he's forced to use this alternator.
Team Burger was not able to survive in that tiny little corner. They do eventually go out, which opens up a lot of space for Legacy down there. Meanwhile, GK is over here with Purple Slushy in the vicinity, knowing that as they move down this building, there could be potential for these teams to collapse on each other. They decide to try and bring the fight to Purple Slushy and see if they can maybe start things off with a little bit of an advantage.
Now, with so many other teams here with 5 squads left, look at the direction on how Falcons have to approach this next zone. Exhibit for exhibit, it'll look like a Venn diagram or even the Epcot ball here. But you know what? With the way that AG is currently playing, Legacy actually over on the south side have those death boxes to get these shields swapped, and they know their backs are cleared until the raid portal gets taken. They weren't expecting this one. The wrecking ball is met as they all get pushed into Yanya's line of sight. Goes in for a repositioning opportunity, but they take that portal right back. They're not chasing this because they know the final ring is closing, but they can try to expect it. The portal goes down, and they're forced to rotate right before their eyes. They want to make sure that they can steal this KP and not let anybody else pick it up. As Falcons, Hal takes the opportunity. Gamblers get eliminated.
Yeah, Gamblers just had to go straight towards where Falcons were. There was no safe place for them to play after Legacy forced them out. Legacy now have the entire western half of this circle to themselves. Purple Slushy and GK Esports still stacked on top of each other with Falcons on the lookout. Friday making their move in.
Trying to back away, Yanya, who's one shot. No, Juarez gets out, and Falcons, very quiet, are trying to pick up on the call. Nice scan here from Hal, predicting exactly where Yanya is and being able to get that preemptively. As some awareness now, it's up to Kyozi to stay alive. Can another team be their saving grace as Legacy? Cling on for dear life, and GK being right above them, they could be just that. Knock now comes in with the alternator. He's picked up the car, and he gets a shield swap here. No caustic for them to worry about. Hopefully they can reset with their health in general. Purple Cells, you get eliminated. 2 squads left. It's going to be GK versus Falcons here.
It was just enough time for GK to get back up to a 3, but they are not a healthy 3, and Team Falcons are moving in aggressively. Hal takes a lot of damage. Waltzy goes down, and 3 are up on GK, but not for long. It's down to a duo on GK as well. Dropped, and Keon trying to close this out, and GK Esports take home match number 5.
Smart on GK to play to their position from the very beginning. Even if it gets a little scary where you're forced to bunker down, they worked into their team comp with the caustic. They held height. They may not have had a lot of bullets, but they got the win on top of some KP here, Glitter.
That was crazy because we literally stopped watching them for like 15 seconds while Falcons made their push in on Legacy, and all of a sudden they were straight on top of Purple Slushy. Like that was impressive, and it was just the way the timing worked out. Had Falcons pushed in 5 seconds sooner, had they wrapped up the Legacy fight 5 seconds sooner, they probably would have won against GK because they still would have been a duo.
They needed it. They needed stuff too, right? Because they've been in that building for so long. I was talking about a fight that was going on for a while. It was actually just the coexistence of Falcons from that low ground where that jump pad is, on top of GK being inside that building that a lot of people like to land on here. And that was from the rotation on their POI in Uptown. So they got there as quickly as they could after getting a scan on the ring console, and they get the win on top of the KP.
That was definitely a tough final circle when you think about the fact that we didn't have Gibby bubbles in play, that we didn't have Newcastle walls in play, and a lot of those teams were just stuck out with no cover to work with.
It's almost like you're trying to panic. It's, are you that man? Like, I cannot even survive through all of the onslaught of pressure, the caustic gas traps too, that allow them to take the win on top of it all. And because of DINOS' early exit in that previous 2 games that we've had, Legacy have now got back up and have overtaken them.
And that's a pretty big point gap as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in our final match of the day. But one more quick reminder for our challenger circuit, guys. If you want to and you haven't registered yet, head on over to battlefy.com/ALGS to get yourself registered for CC number 3. Registration for that will close on May 20th, so you still have a lot of time left. And then that event will happen May 23rd through the 25th with one more challenger circuit after that. Who knows? You could be one of the next teams up here on the main broadcast. But after how chaotic match number 5 was, I cannot even begin to predict how match number 6 is gonna go before we get into the last match of the day, the last match before our mid-season break. It's time for our show break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We're asking the question, who's the imposter? Then there's a couple people down the bottom of the scoreboard that I'm wondering about. That said, we've had a couple also remove themselves from that region recently. A good game from Team Falcons, getting a second moves them up to 34 points. Solid. GK as well, who I think it was Onset and Gaskin who were saying about how they're always in like the 5th to 8th region, right? And they were sitting way down before game 5 there. So they've still got a little bit of work to do, but they are now within striking distance of finding that ultimate consistency that they seem to be known for.
And a Presidente living up to his name because he's leading this entire lobby thus far with 15 kills. And we have to see how they're going to do going into E-District because they built up a pretty nice cushion underneath them in terms of leading the pack with 63 total points over the course of these last 5 games, Gino.
I mean, I kind of liked it when he was just at 10 kills because at that point you could just be like, well, just turn up for one game and then just, go sit on the couch for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you can't have that here when you have Mad Maggie, though, banned because then you get to introduce the Gibbies back into fruition.
Yeah, I am expecting a lot of the big boy here in our game 6. The 2 major counters, as we've said, that seems to be dictating a lot of both the legend bans and the legend compositions subsequently that we see at the moment. And Crypto and Mad Maggie are the 2 big counters to Gibraltar. So expect to see him planting the dome here as soon as teams are in trouble.
All right, guys, let's get this going. Our final game on E-District for the day before we go on our break and welcome the new season. And this is our series results as it stands. Legacy, and we have to repeat it, 63 points. Falcons getting a second place finisher is big because they still got some KP while they were sitting pretty underneath that big building with the zip lines for the entire game, right? Just like we saw from GK. And they were able to secure not only that second place, but I believe it was like 6 KP as well. So hopefully they could roll into that because they've had a very slow day, to say the least.
It has been a little slow for them so far, but, one last game, one last hurrah, one last chance for them to pick it up. Electro Dam will be the ticket towards that. Teams love playing Ultra on here. She's banned. They love playing Maggie on here because there's so many little, tiny alcoves and shops and stuff, whatnot to hide behind. She's also banned. We are going to be getting a game where, I guess Caustic can run the lobby a little bit. We're seeing that split between Caustic and Catalyst in some places, but apparently without the Maggie here, everyone has just shifted back to Caustic as I am looking at the team's compositions as they've loaded in.
I was also going to say, Gino, Valkyrie has been bad. Like, are we going to see a repetition of the old days maybe with the double big boys? We're going to have to see as we take a look at our teams and where they land within their respective POIs and what they have to do differently going into this final game before the season comes in, our new season with our new legend.
Oh my God. I like the fact that we are going to have a Storm Point without Tridents is wild to think about. That's the information I've got right now, is that we are going into season 29 and we will not have Tridents to run around. I mean, the implications for the POI draft are just massive, gigantic. But look, that's a couple of weeks away, so I'll freak out about it some other time.
You know what I'm going to freak out about, though? What year is it? Because we do have the double big boys with Valkyrie. This was the OG comp before we introduce legend bands. And I'm seeing 10 Valkyries in this lobby, 15 Gibbies, and 19 Caustics. I would be crying, but I know a lot of our teams that like to bunker down and find themselves in a final zone position are definitely not, because there's going to be a lot of gas to keep track of.
Oh my God, yeah. Look, where's Reignite when you need them? This is the kind of composition that they pulled up and won a LAN on. We are going north yet again. This time, it won't be around Energy Bank. 2 sort of Energy Bank-ish zones in a row is probably enough for anyone. We are going to, however, be going up towards Electro Dam. Saw a little bit of this from Amia earlier today. This will be good for teams like Revival, who are starting their Gamblers, who are in Galleria, maybe even Unreal Nightmare, with such a small POI and Canal to loot and then just move north.
It's another northern zone here and a different look for E District. That's interesting, actually. And oh man, we get to see Yanya going down early. I mean, not gonna say we were cursing anybody because you know that kind of happens sometimes, but losing out on Yanya in what looked to be an Evil Harvester rotation to try to get that could have been maybe ratted on by the team that knew that a lot of these other squads within the vicinity wanted to try to capitalize off of getting that. And with Hawadas and Gilzy waiting idly by, they're looking to immediately get this res. Thankfully, they got the dome. They're putting down the Evo Shield swap just so that way they can expect the push from the team that found Yanya.
Don't cross the streams! I like that shot from the observer. The obs there, that's a cool one.
How many teams? Okay, so there's a team shooting from Electro Dam. A team now pulling up right next to Legacy. And you have Davis Wave and company here over on the other side. While Yanya has to be met with a bunch of nades at his feet, but thankfully, that first nade blows up just a little tad late, only gets his shield. He's gonna be able to safely get back into the dome. Talk about another clutch dome, too.
Yeah, I was surprised he had another dome ready to go. They used one to secure the respawn with. Apparently that was just in time for them. But I mean, everyone's pulling up. This isn't like we're on the edge of zone here. Literally everybody is near here and looking at this, and they are just going to have to keep pressing that button again and again as these teams look over them.
What can they do here in this situation? Like, even Gilzy is just trying to stay alive. They're hiding behind the other side of the knockdown while January is raining hell from above. And then a notch grenade? Like, everything was hurtled in their direction. And that is going to be the end of Legacy's run. Will it be enough? Well, unfortunately for them, the fate is not in their own hands. So we're going to have to look on to see how our other squads do, especially Dino, who is still alive, even if they've had a very slow E District for the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's a bit of an 0-7 there to Legacy. That said, what have they got? 9 points ahead of Dino. So that's a little bit of a buffer. Dino need to have a solid game to take back first place, but they certainly can do it. You know, moving down from there, it's only the mid-30s. Oh, actually, no, sorry. We do have Shopify Rebellion on 43 as well. So, yeah, look, it's Gamblers on 42, a couple of teams just sort of creeping up, and then we've got this massive cluster of teams at around sort of the low 30s. Any of those teams will be looking for KP, and that could make a huge difference to the standings at the end of this. So any 3v3 is going to be massive right here. Shopify, one of the ones who are potentially competing for a podium spot. Let's have a listen in as they take this bombardment on.
I think we look to kill them. I think we look to kill them. I think we look to kill them. I'm playing up left. I'm playing up left.
Like, I doubt it'd be like a pullback. I feel like it can't be that.
Running away. I feel
like
most... balcony right now. It's booming balcony.
We can leave. We can leave.
Hey, Jono, come take. Jono, can you take this?
Yeah.
Close like the tower. Probably will.
Yeah. Take that. Drop that.
Flying. I gotta leave.
Well, I'm
start working up, guys.
Like, I killed Raid. I can't do anything.
See where they flew?
They're just gonna go Lotus. They're just gonna go get round 3.
Alright, guys, I need a heavy mag. You guys find one.
I was on the bus.
Right, let's start working together, guys.
On the right.
Someone just evac on the left. Someone just evac on the left.
Evac from Resort.
And they res. Can we go get Evo and then maybe look to get into Lotus?
Yeah.
In the water.
They're gonna evac towards our side, I think.
Yeah.
Get back the team.
Maybe.
Like up here.
I mean, they're probably they're flying in right now. No, they're in City Hall. Can we just get into Lotus together?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see Shopify Rebellion have got the bead on Nice Guys who are flying in close to them here. And with them in third place, it really does feel like Shopify have cemented their position in the competition right now. They lost a few points out at the start of this split, but most people were kind of expecting them to bounce back, I think, Vicky. And I think we're seeing the culmination of their efforts to fix their issues here today and last week as well.
It's more like a group effort in like listening to the comms of Shopify, even with Zainu like leading the squad. It's about getting the opinions of everybody on how they want to approach things, and that could take a lot of time too. So I like the way that they've been able to lean into their strength, at least for the last 2 weeks. It's obviously working out. They have a rain console isolated on top of an Evo Harvester if they want to be able to scoop that up already, and then a clear rotate into the north side of the zone. It will be difficult if they do want to push into that middle bridge where you see Purple Slushy holding. But if they approach from the northern side out of Lotus through where Unreal Nightmare are, they don't have to be afraid of a team looking down on them over on Electro Dam, because the squads that have that ring console info have kind of already migrated over to the east side, specifically Team Falcons, Revival, and even Hussin Gamblers that are waiting inside of those buildings over to the southeast side of Electro Dam.
Yeah, we see them taking a balloon right now, actually, going over the top of those big E-District walls, straight into center zone. So, see if they can find a nice spot to play here. So many teams shooting at them. All right, they're going to try the bus. Hemlocks are still around, still involved. Those bus windows don't hold long. Every time a team tries to hold one of them, I mean, for starters, you have to have a controller legend. But that controller legend, I will tell you, is on non-stop reinforced duty. They are doing literally nothing but reinforcing those windows if you try and survive in there. They haven't gone for that option. They've tried to go even further into the zone, and they've lost Zap for it. This is not great for Shopify.
Especially when you have to worry about like a breach charge if it's not even a Mad Maggie Wrecking Ball, since of course we won't have that here. And now losing out on Zap. I mean, this is a team that took the Valkyrie ultimate. They got the scan. They try to see where they wanted to land and saw so many teams playing in the spots that they wanted to actually utilize, and now are going for this res. They pull it off, and then you see the electrified dome and said, all right, I'm out of here. I do not want to contest this when I see 2 up. If it was just a solo, that could have been the end of Shopify, but with 2 still up, then we have our next victims. Welcome to the death bus. It looks like Team Burger. Hopefully being able to put those buns in the toaster oven and not make it as soggy as we had seen earlier on, Gino, are looking to try to stay alive.
Here we go again. Yeah, look, Rock Esports. They're going to go up against Buckle Boys, and hopefully they're going to have a better time than eating the soggy buns here. Let's see. Vaxlon goes down, full killed now. This is well outside the zone. The last member of Rock Esports. Looks like they're trying to grab a crafter over at a height for a little reset here. Oi, oi, oi. Shopify, I like how they did that, actually. One thing I noticed there, very small thing, but, you know, this is maybe why they survived where AG didn't. Slightly different circumstances. But Zainu held his bubble to the last second, right? Where AG actually popped it down immediately when they got that res off. And even that, you know, 5-10 seconds gets you, you know, just buys you extra time before you're having to use the next one. Makes it a little bit harder for people to try and find a gap within your utility usage and timing. That tactical rotation that we talk about when people are talking about baby comp, which obviously, you know, has gone by the wayside in this series, but it's a similar concept.
I like how you point that out too, and that's just something for a lot of players that are trying to run similar compositions to keep in mind on the importance of not only just like the perks, but also considering like what the amps do, specifically like the power amp could do in the hands of a Gibby. But we get to see where the zone pull is, and there is a lot of open ground. I don't know what it is with ALGS today and water in general, because coming out of Stormpoint, we had like water zones every single game. But now looking at E-District this time around, kind of very similar south side of Electro. If anything, Unreal Nightmare are so happy that they have claimed this lot very early on, while Shopify Rebellion are still trying to reset here.
Yeah, they have such a central spot in zone, but the question is, can they hold on to it? Crazy Thieves. Similarly, Gibby turns his back at the wrong time, and Crazy Thieves are gonna make them pay for it. Sorcerer goes down, and despite getting that res off over from the heights, it was a big rotation out in zone for Rock, and it's come to almost nothing. Still alive for now, I suppose. There's another crafter and energy bank if they really want to go down that route.
And now with the zone closing in, at least it's the Valkyrie that stays alive for Rock. So that's important here, because you could go in for more of these rotational opportunities to maybe go in for a reset, while Revival try to start out with a fight thanks to that Wraith portal. They still have height over Falcons right now. Very similar situation to our last game in terms of positioning for Falcons, playing off this low ground. And you'd think maybe Revival has enough shield bats to their back. We're gonna have to see. At least thankfully for them, there's not a single Loba. You'll never see a single Loba in this lobby. So they get to keep all that loot that they dropped down, preemptively looting it and making sure that they have it ready for them while they know that they're going to be camping out the high ground.
Oh man, it's been such a long time since we had that Loba back. Hey, Nocturnal is coming back next split.
All right.
He put out an LFT. That, I mean, when I think Loba, that's actually the first person I think of, right? He kind of pioneered that cascades on Storm Point, loot quickly with the Loba kind of vibe, and then sit in zone as Voddery is just picking up the KP, and of course, it wouldn't be anything else than a Kraber infinite ammo combo.
Oh my, Voddery, and the fact that he also just like waited at the perfect time for the knockdown to drop down to allow Veros to try to crawl back away. I mean, okay.
He's back.
Well, Crazy Thieves just as quickly though, in the same frame, are able to bring him right back. So they were isolated on that back end here, but they have 40 seconds to fully reset. And HBM, note this with Cody and Hambino right next to them.
I want like a headshot as he's coming out of the dropship. We've been breaking records. I want the record for least time alive after respawn.
That's brutal out here, but Jet's not gonna let that happen, and neither is Verholst. The back-to-back knock means that Crazy Thieves are trying to roll with this, but losing out on your Gibby is scary now. Phony gets information, going to the phase, sees one player, the Valkyrie, just trying to dance, sees the Gibby Dome, says, absolutely not. Phony trying to give them the backup though, sends out the nade. Important to get Jen right back up, and Verholst is going to be able to help him out here. And all these teams are like, okay, just carrying on without our days as Rock Esports eventually get eliminated. That solo that was Cersei got called out on the rotation with the zone closing in on Galleria.
Hellish game for Rock to finish off this series here. I'm surprised Phony didn't pop the his ultimate there, to be honest. Once they were down, he probably could have given them some safety in that phase dome, but instead, maybe you want to save that for the rotation. They're all locked in Galleria right now. So many teams need to get out of here, and the Crazy Thieves, well, they're not going to be leaving.
Oh no, Crazy Thieves get eliminated. Waltzy, by the way, is getting knocked onto Madness with a defensive bombardment.
Oh, no.
Verholst at least gets to finish off his KP, but it's only Waltzy. And while you see a floating Gibby trying to play their life, I mean, what can you do? It was inevitable. Falcons, they go out. Nice guys meet them back in the lobby, but Falcons had gone out in 15th place in this last game. Unfortunate showcase here from Falcons, while DINOS stay alive, something that Legacy could not do, and they have 56 total points right now.
This is big. They're getting closer. Only 7 points away from Legacy. JD Gaming get eliminated, and DJ Killer on the Wraith has now made it all the way to purple. Teams are dropping. The zone shifts to the bottom. It goes to Team Burger, to Shopify Rebellion. It goes to DINOS.
Oh my goodness, DINOS, the script could not have been any perfect. Remember we were talking about the death bus? Well, guess what? Nobody's looking at that location anymore, and Gamblers pick up some KP2, eliminating HBM. 10 squads left now for our final game in Americas, and there's only about 2-3 teams actually inside this next zone as a Hail Mary pool for Shopify Rebellion, still trying to keep themselves alive, but only as a duo right now.
Yeah, look, Gamblers are very low on the split standings right now, so this would go a long way to helping their chances of making the regional finals and have that Cinderella story go their way.
Very similar outcome here with an Amiya, a very similar zone too, and now Gamblers, looking down at the teams that are trying to force this reset, are moving forward. Shopify clinging on for dear life as a duo, putting down the caustic barrel just so that way they can drop down, knowing that you're going to take a good chunk of that damage. He pulls up the shield bat. A nade in his direction means that he has to get out because he's going to get knocked. And there you go. MT with a clutch nade. Following up, though, can they get the full revive now that the zone's closing in behind their backs? It's another bombardment. You get a bombardment. You get a bombardment. It doesn't help when all these Gibbies have 3 bombardments in their pocket. Dropped. Welcome here to the KP, in addition to what GK Esports has put on the board for themselves on E-District.
Yeah, Shopify only 1 point behind them, though, so Gambler's 3rd place is at risk of getting taken away. Oh! Big nades coming out
No
from
way.
Dino. They'll be happy for any KP they can get. DJ is down though. We do need Chaos to drag him back. No cover from the bubble, but they still managed to reset.
The fact that they also could get away from the bombardment, but something that Shopify Rebellion don't have to do, as they're hiding behind all the caustic barrels. Look at this, literally hiding in a corner, and everyone's had enough. Shopify do get eliminated, and unfortunately for them, that also means that they don't get the KP confirmed when you see the reses from the defensive bombardment that they put down from their Gibby. Now Dinos make their move. They're hungry, and there is no meteor to make them extinct. If anything right now, they're living in Jurassic Park in the E District Edition, and DJ's got the Kraber as well as the infinite ammo in hand.
After they got that respawn, apparently Shopify Rebellion got kidnapped. I don't know who, but I'm gonna guess it was DJ Killer at the way he is putting these portals out with Abandon here. 3 squads left alive. Purple Slushy will be looking to third party this, but Dinos have cleaned this up so cleanly that they're now going to have to run into the waiting arms of DJ Killer's Kraber.
Dinos now sit in first place here. They got the KP, they got the placement, and they try to take the 3v3. If anything, Pluto, though, is taking a good chunk of that damage, having to be careful with the Nox grenade set forward. Gibby Dome for Gibby Dome. You get the 150, you get the follow-up, the caustic gas does the rest, and now this is Dinos in a very clean fight here. Next comes the next bubble. They're all plus a 3-man, and Dinos, they take first place for the day and first place for our final game.
Hot damn, that's the second win on the day for Dinos. They start with a win and they will bookend it with one as well. This squad is nobody to be trifled with. I mean, last year, we said literally on this day last year, Vicky, we were at the ALGS Open discovering who some of these players were for the first time, and here they are a year later, showing us how they have grown.
I just honestly seeing how Dinos has proceeded to lead this lobby like they did a few weeks ago when we saw Group B versus C again highlights another showcase of consistency for this team. I mean, Chaos alone has dropped 14 kills in the entirety of this lobby. It's like they're competing with one another, Genome, because that DJ comes in, he's dropped 13 in total over the course of these 6 games. And then J Future also tied up with DJ with 13 himself. And that was with J Future, who was leading the pack alongside with Yanya. And Chaos and DJ said, all right, we got to wake up ourselves. They got that first place finishing spot. And this is what allows them to be the winners of the day. Oh, all right.
Stunned.
Glitter,
You're
welcome
stunned.
back.
You guys are stunned because that's how insane it was. I get it, Vicky. Don't worry about it. I get it. Listen, we talked about him in match number 5, or I did. I might have cursed them. They go out crazy early in match number 5 after going out early in match number 4, and they said, no, we can't end the day like that. We need to get a win, and this win results in them being at the top of our series at the end of the day. Legacy find themselves there in second and Gamblers in third, but huge shout out to Purple Slushy. Genome, we talked about them. They were one of the teams that really needed a pickup performance to just get themselves out of that relegation area. They do exactly that and still have one more round robin to continue doing that.
Yeah, I mean, finishing up with 48 points there certainly surprised me with some of the play we'd seen out from them. And, you know, they didn't have a great start to the day either. Started off with a 0-point game, but then they just started picking up kill after kill after kill. Just, you know, a couple of clean team wipes throughout the game was enough to get them into that top 4.
Get to take a look at what that means for our overall Pro League standings as well. NIP still at the top with 68 total points, even after not seeing them today, Vicky, but Dinos jump up massively and now find themselves in second place.
Yeah, weren't they like 11th before today? The fact that they jump up now to second, yes, we still have our groups that still need to play things out to see where they stand. I mean, NIP, that's a statement on its own, but this is big here too, because Falcons still, you know, with a rather lackluster day here, we all know how they could do. Still sitting in that 5th place spot with 53 points. Legacy, also another team that jumped up a lot, because I believe they were like, what, 15th in the overall standings before today.
Not only that, but I'm pretty sure Shopify now put themselves
17th.
right inside the safety bubble as well. They were outside of it, and now they're inside the safety bubble. So today has changed a lot for our squads. Like we'll keep saying, we still have one more round robin to go, but this just goes to illustrate how close this region is across the board, as we now get to take a look at the kill leaderboard, which has been changing all day, Gino, because this is how close our players have been. And Yanya said, no. I might not have been here for the first match, but I'm going to close out the day and I'm going to get the title with 15 kills.
Yeah, I mean, and again, 10 of those coming from one single game. And then, yeah, sitting below him, it's anything but an extinction. Well, it's an extinction event for the rest of the lobby here, because we've got DINOS in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the leaderboard here. Jelly doing great work with that Kraber earlier on. Zainu, of course, it's hard to not see him on this board. And then even Gyozi from Legacy, a nice little send-off from him.
I mean, what an impressive day. We definitely not only had an insane performance, obviously, out of DINOS with the entire trio up there, like you're mentioning, but when we look at Yanya, Vicky, this is what we know. This, not only Yanya as an individual, but the trio that we've seen together for years now is capable of. We've always talked about how they can absolutely slay out. They get aggressive when they need to. And now we're getting that OG trio back after this performance. So Yanya's got to be feeling pretty good about not only where he is as an individual after today, but the direction they're heading as a team.
Like, literally stayed on the very top despite basically not existing for 3 games. He didn't exist at all for game number 1, but like the fact that he didn't drop any KP for that final game after the unfortunate start that they had, and then even game number 3, that one huge game where he dropped 10 KP on the Valk on Storm Point just allowed him to find that confidence, and this is what we could expect from a Presidente.
I think it also shows just how spread out a lot of the kills were too, because it was a pretty stacked kill leaderboard. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, there was Yanya at 15 and then nobody else. Like, everybody, there were ties. There's 14. Like, you know, this was another way on like a micro level to kind of illustrate just how strong the Americas are as a region.
Yeah, I mean, we said we were, you know, hoping and expecting a tight series. We still got a pretty tight series. It was just that there were a couple of squads that really got out ahead, and then, you know, people struggled to reel them in towards the end. But they, you know, DINOS turned it around just in that, in those those final moments, right? So honestly, shout out to them for having such an awesome day, and yeah, once again, just proving that they're not like a, you know, a one-hit wonder.
Vicky, we now have a break, which means we also have a new season. What are you most looking forward to for season 29? This is going to change a lot of stuff.
I mean, it is. I think there's a lot of things. So I'm excited for the conduit buffs. I know you are too, absolutely. I'm excited to see how the fact that these teams are even going to play without tridents in play, like where is Axel going to slot into the meta? There's so much to look forward to. I mean, the fact that Apex just keeps delivering peak after peak with these seasonal updates, the res on the death boxes having a cooldown, like there's so much that this game has changed, and it's great when we have, like, in this day in ALGS history, a look back, and then you see older gameplay play out, just to, like, introduce what we have now. It's just insane. I love it. I'm so excited.
I mean, you know what's one interesting thing that I think will come into play towards the last end of the season is we see some teams and players who are really good at picking up stuff straight away, right? Like Albraleli is one that sticks out to me. He's a guy that will just like click instantly with new mechanics, new legends, and just make them sing. And then we've got other teams, especially like I'm thinking about Falcons, right? Some of the best players and teams actually take quite a while. Once they get there, they master it. They're the best at it. They, no one can come close, but they don't necessarily get there all that quickly. And it just makes me wonder, will they have time to adapt and acclimatize before the end of the split?
I like that. I like that because there really are a lot of changes that will impact how competitive play works, right? And you're right. There's only a couple weeks to acclimatize that. And for some of these teams, it will be stacked on top of potentially making a roster change because that window will also be open. So these teams are actually juggling a lot in the middle of this split. And I kind of love it, Vicky, because what if this is the change that one of the teams needs? Like maybe Axel's the legend that completely opens up the door for them to jump up the leaderboard, or maybe this is what ends up pushing our
that to J-Beebs, and he laughed a lot, actually. That was a fun combo. But looking at the changes and what to expect, and I agree with you, Glitter, I think maybe some of these changes are what these teams need to make that shift in a better direction, especially looking at the fact that we're already more than halfway through the season.
Literally. Well, let's talk about Dinos, okay? Because what a phenomenal day this trio had, and they were able to do it in a way that felt so like purposeful. Gino, like they knew the choices they were making when we were watching them find success. They were solid, they were confident, they were working as a unit, and it resulted in a strong win.
Yeah, I mean that's twice they've won, right? Like 75 and 74. Those are really strong results in the hardest region in ALGS.
Well, I'm being told that we actually have Jay Future from DINOS standing by ready to chat with us for a little bit of an interview after a very strong win. Jay Future, welcome. Thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with us. Congratulations on your day.
Yeah, thank you for having me, but I'm actually sitting by because we had to set this camera up really fast.
Are you sitting on the floor?
I'm on the floor. Yeah, I just finished a collegiate championship tournament.
And then went straight into this.
Yeah, Men of Culture's IGL actually won it, and now we're here.
Talk about a day filled with Apex.
Yep.
Is that the same collegiate land that Vatari also competed in too?
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the name, but yeah, Vatari and YNV are both here from HBM and Men of Culture on different sides of the venue, so we don't screen peek.
That's crazy. By the way, Jay Future, it's so nice to see you. I believe, didn't we play in the Three Strikes?
Yes, we did.
Like, okay, I was gonna say, you dropped like 30-something kills that game. Were you Fuse or Mad Maggie? Was it Fuse?
Maybe. I mean, probably Fuse,
All right, that was crazy. Well, once again, man, congratulations. Like, you guys went crazy. We were talking about Dinos all day long. I mean, talk to us a little bit about the slow start that you guys had on E-District and what you guys did differently for the final game to really reset.
Well, for the first E-District game, it was an E-Bank pull, and we like to play under the bridges on E-Bank. And we got to the left side underneath the bridge. We were chilling there, and then a team from the south compound, well, they exploded us with Mad Maggie and just ran at us in a straight line on round one, and we just died. And then the second game, game 5, I got shot off of the evac tower out of Hammond Labs, our POI, by ROC, and then they ran us down and killed us. and then
to
bring it back, we just kind of knew.
Unlucky is what I'm getting.
To bring it back, we just kind of knew we're already in a good spot. Even if things go wrong, it doesn't matter. And now we can't get inted because everyone's on Gibby Caustic, so we just got to play the portal in, play control, and win. Get 20 points. I said specifically we should get 20 points and we'll win the game. And then Chaos actually noted that that our real rivals for this set, forgot their name, Legacy, actually died in 20th. So that kind of inspired us to pass them and take the win.
Well, look, it's cool that you're there in person experiencing a LAN right now. I was having a quick look at your Liquipedia page, Jay. You have one of the shortest that I've seen of anyone in Pro League, right? So it's pretty damn impressive that you're putting up these kind of numbers and doing this well in NA. So how have you had such a quick rise to the top here? Is it just natural talent? The people you've got alongside you? It's such a quick come up that usually people take a couple of years going through Challenger Circuit and whatnot to develop these kind of skills.
It's definitely the people around me. DJ and Chaos are phenomenal ex-console players. It's like they have gun skill unmatched. And my gun skill is not too bad as well, but it's not as good as theirs. But I have the IGL, of course, and the leadership qualities, and they have the teammate qualities. We get along really well. We don't really get mad at each other very often. And we just feel like as long as there's something to improve on, we should be improving on it. We shouldn't be complaining about getting inted, such as on game 4 when we got exploded and annihilated.
It happens to everybody.
I still don't know who that was. We will exact revenge one day, but I don't know who it was yet.
I love that. I love that. Now, I mean, after your performance today, you guys are sitting in a very, very comfortable position when we're looking towards the future, like whether that's just regional finals or for LAN. So how are you guys feeling like you are slotting into kind of the Americas region in this current meta?
Well, I'm looking under my name on the call and it says DINOS second in America. So if that's true, we're looking really good. Really, really good. And hopefully we'll go to our first LAN at EWC as long as things go right for regional finals.
Like first LAN ever?
Well, except for this one. The collegiate LAN right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's first awesome. LGS LAN. That's going to be a big step up. Damn. We actually had a listen in with you guys. I think it was in one of the war game at Storm Point, and honestly, it just seemed like you guys were having a ball. Like it wasn't stressed. It was literally just like we are having the time of our lives, and really, it's something we don't hear that often. That vibe in especially on match day, right? Talk us through like your team dynamic and how you get to that spot.
Our team dynamic is kind of just DJ and Chaos and me just joking around. Mostly DJ. DJ gets the vibes up all the time, as well as the kills. He really inspires us to have fun, and I think that's really important. And it keeps our mentalities up, and it helps me IGL a lot better, because if your teammates are not getting along with you, you're not going to IGL as good. And then when you aren't IGLing as good, then your teammates are not going to play as good, and then it's just going to spiral, and you're just going to be really bad, and that's not good. So DJ being the figurehead of positivity and like laughter, I guess, is a really important factor. And I've forgotten the question now.
No, you answered it 100% correctly. And like, honestly, it's just great to hear because, I think we need that. We need the ray of positivity in ALGS. Love to hear that. Potential most positive player in ALGS award nominee in front of us.
Yeah.
I like this.
Maybe there's a comedian award.
I got to ask you. Oh, okay. Comedian award there. Now he's aiming for something different. Jay Future, I just want you to be able to shout out your TikTok too. I know you make some content. And any final words here when it comes to at least your thoughts on how you talk to the collegiate scene and any aspiring like collegiate players that are looking to also get their hand involved with Pro League? I mean, do you have any words of advice for the college players waiting at home who find the time and opportunity to grind rank there and maybe get their hand started with the collegiate?
Confidence, comms, and walk in a straight line to zone, pick a random building, turn around and kill everybody. And then worry about everything else after.
Write that down, write that down.
And try not to second guess yourself. When I open the map, I really try to ping something one time and then just close it and just go with the game's gonna end there, and who cares?
I mean, not only sound advice, but like the coldest delivery that we've had in an interview in a long time. J Future, before we let you go, I've got to ask, obviously the team name is DINOS. So are there favorite dinosaurs for each player on the team?
Yeah, actually our Discord profile pictures are, I'm an Ankylosaurus, DJ is a Protoceratops, and Chaos is an Iguanodon. So we're all herbivores that throw the hands.
Let's go. I love that. J Future, before we say goodbye, shout yourself out on social media. People need to start following you.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just J Future on YouTube. I don't do the TikTok stuff because I think that just explodes their brain.
I'm gonna take it. That is 100% his YouTube. Follow this man. J Future, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. You were hilarious, you were fun, and you guys crushed it today. So congratulations on your success, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you soon.
All right, thank you so much for the interview. You guys are awesome.
See you later. Did you hear?
Wow.
Did you hear them screaming "bye" in the background?
There's so much happening. Not only like is he on the floor and having to get together like a setup just as quickly, but like I totally did think that I feel like I definitely saw his TikTok when we did play that one time. Maybe he deleted it. He's like, no more brain rot here. But I appreciate his real responses, and he's trying to go for I guess maybe a new comedian award that maybe we'll have one day within the ALGS.
Just for him.
All right. I've got an idea. We've had the Burger Brigade in the past. I want the next big contingent of ALGS fans. I want an entire stand of people wearing those like inflatable dinosaur costumes. I want to look up and see the Dino Army at an ALGS land.
I actually think that would be amazing.
I also want them to get picked up and paid, but like also please just wear the dinosaur costumes.
Inflatable T-Rex.
Well, I feel like that's probably perfect because we will be in Vegas for Halloween, and what better place to be running around in inflatable T-Rex costumes other than Vegas land for Halloween. So that's double the work though for Dinos, because not only do they have to make it to split one playoffs, and I have to make a split two playoffs as well.
They're doing it. I mean, they're that good right now. Like, how can we say that they're not going to get there?
Easy peasy. Oh man, what a day, what an interview. It's time for us to start saying goodbye. So Vicky, give me your final thoughts on the day, on the fact that we're done with 2 round robins. Whatever you got.
I think those college kids are going to be surprised, and all of us too, to say that I don't think they're going to be dinos by the time that Splatoon LAN comes around, because I think they're going to be picked up with the skill that they have and have put on display for us today. But I've had a great time casting the action alongside you beautiful people, and it's just the calm before the storm where we get another season takeover with a new legend. It's been way too long. It's been like over a year, it feels like, since Sparrow has been released. So now being able to introduce a new legend and a lot of new different mechanics, I can't wait to see what season 29 has in store for us, guys.
Gino?
Yeah, look, I think I definitely want to echo a lot of that. Edge playstyle has taken a backseat recently in ALGS, and I want it to come back. I want our, fantastic Edge teams to be able to be on par with the teams that can show zone skill. But more than that, we just want a little bit more bloodthirst, a little bit more action, especially in some of those early points of the game, I think. So really hoping that season 29 is geared to bring that to us. Whether it does or not, I'm still going to be here and still be enjoying ALGS because it's just about as good as esports gets, frankly. So it's been a great day. So cool to see Dinos come up here. A great story. It does feel like we are getting a new generation of ALGS pros this year.
Which I love. You guys said it fantastically. Well, amazing job, as always, getting us through all of the action today, you two. For everybody at home, you know the drill. Follow us on social media to keep up with everything. And if you're wondering when the next show day is, because we keep talking about this break after today, the next show is going to be May 23rd. EMEA Match Day 7 will kick off at 6 p.m. BST, 1 p.m. ET. 10 a.m. PT. And of course, will be followed by the Americas as usual. So make sure that you're coming back here in those couple weeks to see how not only the final round robin of Split 1 goes, but then who makes it to regional finals, who makes it to Split 1 playoffs. And it's going to be an absolute blast. Until then, hop into some games of Apex. Try out the new season. It starts in 2 days. Let us know your thoughts on Axel and enjoy all of the new content. We'll see you later, legends.